and welcome to the European eTour, your home of the best virtual golf on the planet. And today is the third stop on the calendar, and the players are all battling it out to try and be crowned the champions of the Hero Open 2021. Well, my name is Rachel Stringer, and I'm very glad that I'm back in the hot seat today alongside this man, commentator and expert, Jeff Eisenbahn. And Jeff, I know you're a massive fan of the eTour, maybe a bit too much. He's a bit of an eTour
She's going to calm me down today.
over here. But I couldn't make it last time out, but I know you could. You were here for the BMW Invitational. That was something else. But tell me first what it was like to be in the hot seat, especially after being such a big fan yourself.
It's different when you're actually sitting here and you're catching everything, not just live, but you're really looking at it with a different lens. And I think you notice some things. You notice the way that a player shows up, the form they're in that day, and you start to see the trends, you start to see the stresses of hole to hole. And if you have a bad hole, Rachel, you have to get back on the horse and get right back at it on the next one.
Well, hopefully no one's going to have a bad hole today and a bad time. We want everyone to be on their A game, because obviously we have our 8 players again ready and raring to go for this WGT event, and they're all playing as well from the comfort of their own homes, which I always think take the pressures off a little bit, because they all want to get that spot at the global finals at the end of the year in December in Dubai. But Jeff, let's speak about today's event, because it's the third stop on the calendar, like we just mentioned. Do you think the pressure is really starting to build now for all of the players involved?
In a few hours, we will be past the halfway point in this regular season portion of the tour to get to that grand final. So right now, Rachel, you have to figure it out. You have to make your move. We've got some players making their debut, but they can still get into that grand finals field. They just have to get a victory today.
Yeah, let's talk about that. 4 debutants taking on 4 absolute, I'm going to say legends, or 3 legends in the game. Stuman66, we'll talk about him in a short while. He has been at an event before, so has the experience. But what would you say, if you could right now, to the debutants making their first stop on the eTour?
Well, I think it's just, you got to get into that grand finals. That's what we're all doing here. And if you win, you get to at least 2,000 points. If you make the semifinals, that puts you in the top 8 so far. So forget that you missed those first 2. Forget that you've missed every event so far. Just focus right here today, and you might find yourselves in that 6th event.
You might indeed, because it is all about here and now. And let me tell you, it is pretty tricky to get here. Thousands of you literally try and qualify for these events, but only 8, of course, can make it and compete for a spot in those global finals. And they really are coming at you from all around the world. We have players from the UK, we have players from America, Canada, and Ireland as well. They all want to be in Dubai, hopefully with us in December, because we'd like to be there in person this time out. But it's pretty difficult to get to those global finals. But here's a quick look at exactly what it takes to make it.
The European eTour features 6 esports events consisting of 5 regular tournaments throughout the season, and then concluding in the ultimate showdown, the global finals. The players must be at the top of their game for the entire season if they want to have a share of the $100,000 prize pool. Hundreds of thousands of players will try to qualify for the 5 eTour events, but there are only 8 spots available at each tournament. At each event, players have the chance to earn points for the race to the global finals ranking. By the end of the season, the 8 players with the most points on the race to the global finals ranking will qualify for the global finals. At the season finale, we will find the European eTour champion and the winner of the lion's share of the $100,000. May the best e-golfer win.
I always love that graphic there. I love the little hands up. May the best e-golfer win. Absolutely well said there. But let's get straight to it and see exactly how the standings look after our first 2 events coming into this, our 3rd event. So, Jay Smithers, he is the man in the driving seat there, Jeff, with 10,000 points. F Magnets on 5,000 and Young 46 too. But Golf X3, he missed the last event, 2,000 points. Do you expect him to really kind of, I guess, get a few more points and look like a contender on the rankings so far.
Yeah, and this is a big moment for him, right? He was the #1 player going into the Grand Finals, won the Grand Finals last year. It's Young 46 who's not in this event. So Golf X3 with a big chance to move on up in the rankings and prove to people that he's still right there among the best. As I mentioned, though, Rachel, you've got 5 players here that are at 2,000 plus. After that, all of those 1,000s, those are people who just made the quarterfinals. A player who wins today that can get to 2,000 points all of a sudden is in that top 8. And we've got 2 players who don't have any points yet. One of them, going head-to-head, is going to get to at least 2,000 points today.
Yeah, absolutely. There's so many points on the line as well, and prize money. We'll speak about that a little bit later as well. But if you guys actually have any questions, Jeff is your man. I bigged him up as your expert. He's a commentator expert. He knows everything about the eTour. So if you want to do that, then just follow our socials, eTour, and ask Jeff. So hashtag eTour and ask Jeff any questions you may have. Okay, well, let's focus on today's tournament and see exactly who is playing who as well. Because we mentioned we have 4 guys making their debut and then 4 guys that we've seen quite a lot of on the eTour. But Jeff, if you're looking at those quarterfinals, which one really stands out in your opinion?
Well, I mentioned Stuman and LaHue. One of them is going to get to 2,000 points because one of them has to win. So that has big Grand Finals implications there. And in that bottom half, is Golf X3 back? Can he get past Dean Barr, a debutant for the first time here today? On the other side, Jay Smithers, F Magnets. That's what you expect to be a semifinal matchup. Those are 2 longtime rivals. You expect that to be a big matchup.
I'm going to put you on the spot, as I love to do
Oh,
here.
no.
Who's going all the way to the Grand Final bracket over there?
I think we're going to get a Jay Smithers Golf X3 grand final today. That's what I think we're going to get. They're the 2 best players in the game, I think, and that's what we're going to see today.
And 2 great friends as well. It'd be something, wouldn't it, to see those guys battling it out. And if it was those 2, I don't think I can really call who would take the title.
Well, I think Jay Smithers is in the best form right now. We still need to see what we're going to get out of Golf X3 in these first 2. Assuming that he plays 2 rounds today, we're still going to need to see what we get because he has to prove it. He didn't even make the last event.
I know, he didn't indeed. We'll see how all the players get on, of course, because we're very excited about today's event. But the players are as well, and here's what they had to say coming into this tournament.
I'm looking forward to it.
I'm glad to be in it.
Well, I'm excited, finally getting back into it.
I love it.
This is the 3rd event in a row where in the final of the bracket qualifications I've only got through by 1 shot.
I qualified basically the last day I could have.
So, it's almost just as easy I could not have been in any of these events at all.
I'm super excited to be a part of the Hero Open 21. It's the first live event I've qualified for after watching quite a few of the eTour events.
I'm happy to qualify for the first time this year, get in the game, because I feel left out after last year.
Hero Open is a dream come true.
Haven't won a single tournament this year. Hopefully we can change that around.
Right now, I'm just happy to actually have a chance at it.
This is really cool. I'm very grateful that you guys put this on, and I'm very grateful to be playing against the other players that made it.
Give up my best shot.
Jay Smithers there, very grateful that we've put this event on. Jay Smithers, we're grateful that you're here playing some of the best e-golf ever because we love watching you.
But give it your best shot. That sounds like us at the end there. That's what we're trying to do out here today.
No, that sounds very British. It's like, we'll give it our best shot and see exactly how we get on in the end. That's what F Magnets always says, of course. But let's talk about our first quarter-final then. It is Jay Smithers against Devon PA. Devon PA is making his debut here this time out. I mean, Jay Smithers looks like the man in the driving seat, sitting on the top of the table right now with 10,000 points. But Devon PA, what do you think he can do here today, Jeff?
Well, I've labeled it as Devon PA. I assume that's his name because he's from Pennsylvania. He says his 2 favorite athletes are Jerome Bettis and Jay Smithers. I think playing a little mind game with his friend right now, saying that he admires Jay Smithers and everything that he's doing. These 2 guys know each other very well. They've practiced together. They play with each other. So I don't think Devon is necessarily scared of Jay Smithers because he's just played with him so much and seen his game.
Well, Jay Smithers is my favourite athlete as well. My second favourite athlete. I'm going to go with Dame Kelly Holmes as my number 1. She's a runner, if you guys don't know, 800, 1500. Anyway, let's put that to the side. Let's go to Jay Smithers and let's talk about him. Okay, so this guy obviously taking the 2 titles so far on the eTour. It means so much to him, doesn't it? We saw how emotional he was after his last victory. All his family came jumping on top of him. He'll want to do exactly the same again. So he said he wants to win the entire thing this year.
He's beaten Golf X3, he's beaten F Magnets, he's beaten Young 46, he's beaten all the major competitors so far this year, so he's done it all. I talked to him, I sent him a text this morning, I said, you know, how you feeling today? How are things going? Are you trying to get better? Can you get better? And he says he's always thinks he can get better, he's always trying to get better.
He's always trying to get better indeed. Well, those guys are ready and raring to go. They're already on the greens right now, but something a little bit strange is happening because Jay Smithers is actually 1 down as we join them on the 5th at the moment, which is something we wouldn't expect, especially in the first matchup of the day. Maybe the nerves, the pressure of this situation of trying to get his 3rd title here, Jeff, is starting to kind of affect him a little bit.
And as I said, you know, Devin, someone who he's played with before, practiced with before, they've known each other for years. They've been doing this matchup for a long time. So it's not necessarily like there are people around the world intimidated by Jay Smithers out there, right, Rachel? Devin is not one of them.
That means they haven't actually met him in real life then, because he's not very intimidating in real life. He's a lovely chap. I got the pleasure of meeting him when we were at Abu Dhabi, the first event that we actually got to go to in 2020. It was great, and I had a little walk and talk of the course with him, and he was telling me all about his family. Yeah, it was brilliant. Okay, but we do have 2 quarterfinals actually going ahead at the same time. So I think we can jump to the next one now. So we have Dean Barr taking on the absolute legend. That is Golf X3. I mean, this one, Golf X3 is always talked about, but let's talk a little bit about him more now. Obviously, he was our champion from season 1, 2020. Hasn't been showing the same form, has he, Jeff, this year? He's
a student, so I don't want to tell him that he shouldn't be putting in that work into class and everything like that, but it's just not the same Golf X3 that we saw last year that won 5 of 6 events, that was so dominant all season long. He's lost in the semifinals of that first event to Jay Smithers and then didn't even make the second event, the BMW International Open that you mentioned. So he's got to figure out and dig what's wrong with my game and how can I get back to that form that I had last year.
Yeah, well, someone that obviously is here this time out making his debut as well was Dean Barr. I mean, what do we know about this player and the form that he's on? A Canadian, we can see there the flag behind him. Plays 3 hours a day compared to Peyton's 1 hour. Could that be the difference here?
Well, I think we know how good Golf X3 is. Maybe it's the wiseness of the 51 years old that Dean Barr is, but on top of that, he also, he says that he's a guy that plays unorthodox. He has a lot of top spin shots. He has a lot of low shots. And I think the 3 courses that we have today that are all links courses, I think that bodes really well for Dean Barr.
I'm excited to see all this top spin then from Dean Barr. We can go and join them now because they're on hole number 4. And as possibly we'd expect, Golf X3 is 1 up as it stands. Still a long way to go, though. So really, as we've seen time and time again on the tour, anything can change in a flash. It just takes one, I guess, kind of lapse in concentration, and it's wide open for their competitor.
And you see right now, just Golf X3, the everything that he tries to go through to make sure that he understands these putts. Putting is going to be so important on these links courses today, and maybe that's where Golf X3 can make up for those low shots we were talking about from Dean Barr.
Yeah, well, Dean Barr is the guy that really will want to make his mark on the tour because it's his debut, of course. A birdie, though, from Golf X3 there. So kind of stays as it was coming into this with Golf X3 still in the driving seat. We're going to say that as we head on into hole number 5 now.
Listen, we have to talk about this, Rachel. Golf X3 in a black, it looks like a black Tiger Woods t-shirt. He usually wears the red with the black hat. Maybe because of that lack of success this year, he's changing it up.
No, Jeff, he's just toying with you. Wait until he gets to
the
semi-finals or the finals, and then he'll go and switch to his shirt as well, because, it gets quite sweaty in there when you're playing WGT at your best.
You want to be efficient with your laundry, but I understand that, where he's trying to go about that.
Yeah, I mean, if you were Dean Barr, though, coming into this, how much would you have watched Golf X3 because you potentially knew you were going to play against him? Would you have completely analysed his game, or would you like to come in a little bit more fresh and not really knowing exactly how he plays his game?
I think you want to know your competitor because I think you want to know, and look, these guys, I mean, take someone like Young46 who's not out here. You can watch as many of his videos online as you want. You can figure out what he does.
Everyone does as well.
Everyone does, but Golf X3, maybe it's something that you go back and you see how he's played these courses. You see, okay, here's a hole that I'm not going to be able to beat Golf X3 on. He's probably going to get a birdie, he's probably going to get a par, whatever it may be that's going to be equal to me. But here are the opportunities that I really have to go for it because here's where my game lends better, and this is an opportunity I might have.
Yeah, totally. He's got to take this opportunity, especially at the quarterfinal stage, because if he does make it through to the semi-finals, things are going to get a whole lot trickier because it obviously becomes a little bit more important. We get to the business end of the competition, but so far, looking pretty nice there. Obviously, it was quite far from the hole, 163 yards at the moment, and quite a strong headwind there that we're seeing, which we see a wind, don't we, on these links courses?
We do. We're going to see that, and I talked to Jay Smithers today, and he said he thought that lent well to him. You're going to see stronger winds, basically, on these links courses. Just a little note, in Young46, we said he's not in the field today. He's probably already mad at me because I said that Jay Smithers and Golf X3 are the two best players in the world right now, but that's how I feel. Young46, I will give this sort of knowledge that he dropped upon me once upon a time. He says add 6 yards for every 10 miles per hour of headwind and 4.5 yards, take 4.5 yards off for every 10 miles per hour of tailwind. So that's a little bit of the math that goes into what these guys are doing. And when the wind is as strong as it is a course like Royal St. George's that we're watching right now, you really have to factor that quick math in. Because that is something that these players really do. We see them time and time again with their calculators next to them. They're calculating so much, and you've just maybe given some guys at home a little bit of an insight into what it takes to be a top player. Be like, right, maybe you say it once more in about an hour's time. So everyone sits and continues to watch our stream here, and then you can tell them a bit more of the tricks and tips from Young46. I feel like I have to plug Young46's channels here. That's where I got my information. That's my journalistic note, is he's the source on that. Yeah, well, everyone obviously loves to watch his channels because he is such a great of this game. And a lot of people get into the game because of him as well. I know I've watched his streams before and tried to take a few tips, but I'm still not quite up to the level as some of these guys are. Well, actually, let me rephrase that. All of these guys. I'm nowhere near the level, Jeff, but I try my best. Big opportunity here for Bernie from Golf X3 to take advantage of this hole. How much time he takes as well. He really does just sit and control it, doesn't he? Really thinks about, well, because look how close Dean Barr was there. Yeah, he knows that this is a real opportunity to get this birdie, and you see a lot of the players are always going to try. They know the spots on the course to leave themselves with an uphill putt. So you see that up 5.8 inches. Golf X3 likes that, but his time, he gets a warning. So we get 5 timeouts. You don't want to use that 5th timeout. You really want to just use 4 timeouts, so you're out. So you really get 4 timeouts here. And like I said, Rachel, there's so much strategy involved because Golf X3 knows that this is a rare opportunity that you'll get to know that you can win a hole with this putt. So he's doing everything that he can to analyze every angle of this putt. Yeah, because 17-foot putt. I mean, I know it's going up a little bit, like almost 6 inches, but it doesn't look the trickiest. So we've come across much trickier than that before. If it's real life, I'm just hitting this and hoping. But in this game, at 17 feet, and like I said, 5.8 inches uphill, so you can give it a little bit extra. You don't have to worry about it going by the hole. That's a prime opportunity. Well, nicely done there, hey. A birdie. As we expected, Golf X3 won that hole. Okay, well, let's keep you guys on your toes, as we are doing in the studio here. And let's hop on over to our other quarterfinal, Jay Smithers and Devon PA. Jay Smithers, okay, right, back in the driving seat. He is 1 up now. That's what we like to see from our mate there. And he's obviously now on the tee box, and he is going to have a long, 457-yard here drive on the 8th. It's a par 4. Obviously, we're at St Andrews as well, so it's again quite tricky. Not a strong wind as we just saw, but still enough. They'll have to do a lot of calculations there. Well, I was looking at his facial expression. He's kind of looking, yeah, can't really read that one there. And now we get Devon a little simpler outfits from the two of these than our last competitors. Royal St George,
correcting myself there. St Andrews, there's two, obviously, British courses today. One in Scotland and one all the way down in Kent. Got my little graphics mixed up there, Jeff. But, you know, excuse me.
Chambers Bay is the other course, and for those of you, this is the Hero Open. Not to confuse everyone, but the Hero Open will be played this week at Fairmont St Andrews, a different course in the Fife area of Scotland.
Well, isn't there like 7 courses up there?
I've had to do my my Scottish geographic research for this.
Yeah, 7 courses up there, it kind of in the St Andrews area. Obviously, the oldest one is on Everyone Loves as well, which is the old course at St Andrews, and you can obviously play that on WGT. I've played that many a time. I actually did a mini tournament on that course myself. I think it was last year during lockdown. I didn't do too well at it, so we'll just move swiftly on from that.
I was in that same tournament, Rachel, and obviously people didn't come here to just hear how we played the game, but I made the semifinals.
Woo!
And I was pretty frustrated to just miss making the finals of that event.
I'm going to say nerves got to me. Not like they are doing these two boys right now, though, because Jason is there nicely on the green. Devon PA, can he match the efforts of Jay Smithers? Because he needs to keep within, I guess, 1 point now, because otherwise if he lets Jay Smithers get too far away, he literally runs away with it, doesn't he?
Yeah, and Devon was 1 up when we started. Jay Smithers has won back-to-back holes, won holes 5 and 6, and then they have 7. So this is when he just starts to put that pedal to the metal. And I mentioned it off the top, Rachel. You really have to adjust, because in a match play competition like this, you just have to put that last hole out of your head and go after heartbeat shots like this one.
Ooh, that's so nice. Beautiful shot as he's getting rewarded on screen there. He wishes he could be a little bit closer. Obviously, no one ever concedes putts here. This is a tournament. Everyone wants to do their best. But, yeah, Jay Smithers now, I'm sure he will 15 foot. It looks a bit more level. There's not much movement there on the green, so it looks like it will probably be an easy putt to make.
It looks like it does. Devon in there close. You'd assume he'd tap that in. So the pressure shifts to Jay Smithers a little bit. And I mentioned it as we were watching Golf X3 and Dean Barr. You almost always want to have an uphill putt. Little difficult on this hole because of that ridge that was in the front. That's why Jay Smithers put himself in the back. It's not a terribly downhill putt, but the downhill putts are definitely more difficult.
You're absolutely, because they obviously can kind of roll away from them if they put a little bit too much behind it, and then they have a lot to do to make up for it, of course. So Jay Smithers, another timeout. We saw that earlier from Golf X3. At this stage in the competition, they want to take their times and make no silly mistakes, just making sure it goes in. That's exactly what they're trying to do right now.
Can't save those timeouts for the next match. Just gotta, you don't want to have them in your back pocket if you didn't use them.
No, exactly. Every single match you get 5 again. Well, you kind of get 4 because the 5th means you're out of timeouts. That's what a timeout does.
Just a pure stroke from Jay Smithers. We see a little bit of a fist pump from him. Devon obviously is thinking, what do I have to do with this guy? I put in that shot stiff right in there. But he's just going to have to hang with him. That's what it's going to be about. We were saying that Dean Barr, maybe scouting Golf X3, try to figure out the holes that you can take advantage of. Same thing with Devon. Has to figure out which are exactly the holes that he might have opportunities to get past Jay Smithers.
Yeah, how many times do you think they'll play each course, knowing they're going to come and play it in a tournament situation?
Yeah, I mean, we saw that different players practice different amounts of hours. I think once you know the tournaments here, the courses, depending on the time, you want to play them as much as possible. And when I've talked, a player like Jay Smithers that's so experienced in this game, you can almost name to him any part of the green, any landing spot on any hole in this game, WGT by Topgolf, and you can find, and he knows exactly where to land the ball. Yeah,
that's crazy. That just shows how much time and effort all of these competitors put into this game. Not a heartbeat, but it was a pretty long shot there on the fairway for Devon PA. Only 27 years of age as well. And he said this is his first live event. He's been watching a lot of them, but he's very excited to be here. When it's your first event, I'm sure you've told all your friends and family as well. Everyone's tuning in. So even though he's over in America right now, they'll all be Up? What would they be up early? Or late? Come on,
it's
help me here.
midday.
It's mid. Okay,
it's 11:30 a.m. or so right now in the U.S.
Okay. Well, it is if you were from New York.
Yeah, I'm from New York. I'm on East Coast time. Jay Smithers is actually on Central time in the U.S., so he's probably 10:30 a.m. right now.
So they're all up. They're awake by now. If they're not, we're like, what are you doing?
Well, I don't know. I'm trying to think of how awake I am at 10:30 or 11:30 a.m. some days, but I'm sure that they're. I mean, Jay Smithers is used to this. This is prime hours for him in E-Tour competition. And he's a little bit, you see a little bit of a shrug from him as that ball rolls off the back. He'll have an uphill putt, but you see he's a little bit off right now. And maybe it's that, maybe he'll really hunker down when it's F Magnets and when it's Golf X3, and he might be underestimating Devin a little bit, but he's just a split second off right now.
Yeah, I think sometimes we see that, don't we, in all different sports. If the player who has won a couple of competitions before thinks the debutant, the player, maybe isn't up to scratch, they do just drop their game slightly, but they have to be so wary of that, because that's when the underdog, as we're going to say Devin PA is in this instant, could really kind of make his move and catch Jay Smithers off guard.
It's funny, one thing that Devin said when our production team caught up with him, he would not play Jay Smithers at Chambers Bay. That's all he wanted, was he did not think he had any chance at Chambers Bay. So a lot of honesty there as he's feeling it with these irons a little bit. That's gonna stay up on that plateau. So he'll be in a little bit better position than Jay Smithers.
Well, you gave us an insight there. So Devin PA would have vetoed Chambers Bay.
No chance.
Jay Smithers then, he would have vetoed St Andrews. Hence, we are playing at Royal St George's, because that's how the process works. So one player gets to veto one of the three courses, the other player gets to veto another one, and then they play on whatever course is left, in this instance, as we mentioned, Royal St George's. That looks a bit more tricky now.
Yeah.
From this angle, obviously we are going uphill again now, which is what we're saying is more favourable.
You want to be uphill. You don't want to be 22 feet uphill with a big swing and break. Yeah, definitely not. Especially on a hole like this, number 9 at Royal St George's, you saw just that plateau that you have to land on basically an island on the green where this particular hole location is, or you'll roll off. And another timeout by Jay Smithers.
We don't usually see this many timeouts in the quarterfinal stages and on the front 9 as well. This is slightly worrying for someone like Jay Smithers, possibly, that he is feeling a little bit nervy today, possibly just because the pressure is on, Jeff. He's won 2. He wants to win them all, he said. And he's got to step up to the mark again today.
Well, I think as we'll see this putt, I don't think he expected to be just one up through 8 holes. This is the 9th hole. What a putt by Jay Smithers, burying that birdie. Now he's starting to feel it, and he needs to use those extra timeouts to get, I think, what I was going to say, Rachel, his rhythm back. I think that he realized he was a little off today, slower start, and that's why he's using those timeouts.
Yeah, when it is like that, you just really need to grind out the game in the early stages to get that win, to progress further in the competition. Let's see what Devin PA can do right now.
Only 12 feet uphill. This is a pretty simple putt for the top players in this game, but Devin has to reel himself in right now. He just had 2 great iron shots compared to Jay Smithers, but the putting of Jay Smithers has turned all of the pressure onto Devin.
He's really thinking about it. Yep, time out. It's expired.
Jay Smithers making that putt forces the timeout here. I don't think you see that timeout if Jay Smithers missed the putt, because now Devin is really looking at this.
He's got to make it, totally. And you can see that. It doesn't look like he's about to take a shot, does he? Hand over his mouth here. You're like, really? Are you about to? Guess one-handed click of the mouse. That's all you're going to do. Boom! Oof. Nicely buried. Had to do so. Keeps him in the game. The hole was halved, of course, there. So it stays as it was. Jay Smithers is 1 up as we go into the 10th. Should we have a look and see what's going on over there, the quarterfinal?
Sure.
Why not?
I'd love to.
Let's treat you guys. That's why you're here. You want to see all the action. So we're heading over to Golf X3, Dean Barr. Hole number 8. We have Golf X3 still 1 up as we left it. Dean Barr, though, he is the man in the shot right now. 172 yards out. We're again at Royal St George's. He's just adjusting slightly, making sure he has all the calculations correct. I was waiting for a lot of spin there. He's been a bit cautious with it.
That's his thing.
He hasn't showed us it yet.
He hasn't shown us the top spin. We need to see his drives, if that's what he's talking about.
Excellent heartbeat there, though. Look at that. We've got to see more heartbeat moments if we are to see these players sailing through to those semi-finals.
And that flag is in the back there. You're going to see that a lot at Royal St. George's. A lot of these holes have multi-tiered greens. You have to land the ball. If that pin is in the back, you have to get it to the back without rolling off, because then you're in a really difficult position if you roll off the back.
Yeah, no one wants to do that, of course. That would not be advisable at this stage. Oh, hands on his head from Dean Barr there. I would say that, oh, it's not a good look, because it wasn't that good. It was so close to it, just literally skimmed the edge there. Went a little bit too far. GolfX 3.
You could just see the frustration from Dean Barr. You don't want to have a heartbeat moment and miss the putt. That's what it comes down to out here. In GolfX 3, I don't think we're going to see him use a timeout here. He doesn't mess with opportunities like this. I'm looking into the chat a little bit as that one goes down, Rachel. We got a lot of Dino fans out there, a lot of Dino. So he's got some support, even if he's down 2 now.
He won't be looking at the chat, though. He'll be very much focused on the game in hand. But maybe if he can hear us, who knows? Sometimes they do hear what we're saying, and especially Jay Smithers, he's been known to kind of say, or have a few words to say back to us if he doesn't like what we're saying about him. All in good spirit, of course, but still, Jay Smithers likes to get as vocal as we do on the desk here, Jeff. What else is going on in the chat?
I see. Excuse me if I'm getting this wrong. Kaif de Sol is watching from South Africa, so we're glad to hear people from around the world watching. Rachel, we've had 8 events, 8 American winners. Come on, let's get outside of my native United States here.
Well, we might get an English winner, because obviously F-Mags. Then we can kind of say he's a Brazilian as well, because he spends a lot of time out in Brazil, doesn't he? But originally was from England, of course. But yeah, we've got obviously some Canadians this time out. We've got American. We've got some guys from England, and then Ireland as well. So yeah, you know, with no South Africans, unfortunately. What was his name? Can you not join in?
We got Kaif de Sol, or Cafe is.
Do you play yourself? Why have you not qualified? Next time, putting my money on you to qualify for this event. Okay, back to the event in hand, though. Dean Barr, Dino, come on. 2 down. It's got to start making some moves now, though. A little bit too short again.
Yeah, didn't get the heartbeat there. You can see how he'll have an uphill putt, but just
looks far away from that angle.
Well, you got to take some chances now, Rachel. I mean, it's match play. The 9th hole, 2 down, is not too early to start taking chances. And when GolfX 3 is out driving Dean Barr on top of that, now he has that opportunity to really take his time, analyze the shot, and he knows that he's got another opportunity to win a hole here.
Not quite a heartbeat moment, but an excellent shot all the same from GolfX 3. Can he get it a little bit closer? In a very different position he was aiming for there from Dean Barr. So it'll be interesting to see what their putting is like on that. It looked like GolfX 3 just ran down the hill slightly there, so possibly slightly further away. It's still moving as well. It hasn't quite stopped yet.
Now, there might be some game strategy there, all right? GolfX 3 might see that that's where he'd rather putt from in this situation. Who knows?
Yeah, and obviously if you do progress, you may find yourself playing again at Royal St. George's and then kind of gauge that from if Dean Barr gets the better shot here or if GolfX 3 does, of course. So again, just finding the right line to play. A little bit of movement again. Not, well, actually it's moving in a few places there, isn't it? So nearly a 20-foot putt here, slightly uphill. Let's see if he can get this one in. Ooh, that is going to hurt. That is as close as it gets here.
And now we see from the other side. So remember, we talked about these players know where to land the ball. Golf X3 saw Dean Barr short. He went long. It's another uphill putt from the back. You see that hard breaker right to left, although I think most of the break Golf X3 can avoid here.
Similar distance, of course. It's gonna do pretty much the same thing, just skims the outside of that hole there. So they're both back with it all to play. It looks like it's gonna be another hole halved at this stage. No one's gonna miss from here, surely, Jeff. Yep, nicely done.
The Dean Hive in the chat can take a rest for a second, can breathe easy, knowing it looks like this will be a halved hole, and it'll be just, listen, Dean Barr just 2 down to Golf X3 through 9. That's okay. That's all right. I said, unfortunately, he gets the 3 seed, and this is his reward, playing the 5-time champion. But he's still right in it.
Let's leave that quarterfinal there and go and see what is happening in the matchup against Jay Smithers and Devon PA. Jay Smithers, you can see 2 up now on the 12th. So this is looking like it's possibly going to go Jay Smithers' way because we are on the back 9 now at Royal St. George's and not many holes left to play, Jeff.
Not many holes left to play. It kind of brings back some of those memories from the Open Championship earlier this year. Colin Morikawa winning that. Rachel, Royal St. George's was the first course outside of Scotland to host the Open Championship in 1894.
Love your factoids. Keep them coming throughout the next 3 hours, please.
I don't remember it. Oh. 1894. I don't know.
You're not around then?
No.
Sure?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
Someone gets me a flux capacitor.
Maybe in your head. You can watch it on YouTube. Those kind of things.
Yeah, I'm
sure.
Even watch that
I'm
sure. 1894. Yeah.
You have to read about it in like an encyclopedia of golf, don't you? Really. But okay, let's talk a bit more about Devon PA then, because he is someone that's making his debut here this time out. What are his expectations? I always love this when we talk about their expectations. Go out there and play the best he possibly can do. I mean, he's obviously doing that because we saw early on he wasn't trailing Jay Smithers by much at all. He wants to go out there and make a point and try. Obviously, we want to try and get to the World Finals, of course, in Dubai in December. That would be a nice trip because when I went to Abu Dhabi in January of last year with these players, a lot of them had to get passports just to come to the event. They had never travelled outside their countries, which shows exactly what the E-Tour means to people, not just for the virtual golf side of things, but to meet people in the community. Nicely done then for Devon PA, birdieing that one on the 12th. Jay Smithers now. Not a lot to do here.
Well, it seems Jay Smithers has had a response to every good shot that Devon PA has had over the last few holes, whether that be a great approach shot, a great putt. Jay Smithers has reacted. And in terms of the global appeal of this game, it's called World Golf Tour for a reason, Rachel, and I think that you epitomized it with that talk about Abu Dhabi. Obviously, we'd love to see these players in person, and you'd imagine that it will happen again soon. Some of these players are so close with each other, and it has nothing to do with them living close to each other, but just the game creating great friendships over time.
Yeah, of course.
And rivalries.
Rivalries, friendships.
Frenemies.
Frenemies? Yeah, we'll go with frenemies. But it is, you can obviously play anyone around the world on this game. You don't have to know them, you literally just go pick a course, pick what you want to play, and then someone joins you. That's how easy it is. And you can literally play it anywhere. I play the mobile version, which means I can play it on the tube in London when I'm kind of commuting here and there, or in a queue. If you're like waiting to go and pick up your shopping or something, you can just get your phone out and you can start playing a game. It can be 3 holes, it can be 9 holes, it can be whatever you want, literally. So much fun.
I think queue is line in my English, right? When you're
standing in line.
When you're waiting in line.
Queuing. We love to queue in England.
The roller coaster tycoon fans out there used to create the queue for people to stand in line. So that's how I learned.
There you go.
That word. Devon, now again, it's a matter of can he put the pressure on. We see Jay Smithers' ball right there. Jay Smithers has had a response for everything. And for
Oh, it's still slightly rolling, slightly. But on the green, again, you can't tell much, can you, from these players' facial expressions. Devin PA is not giving anything away there. I'd love to hear what these players are saying. Sometimes they're quite vocal, especially if you get Jay Smithers up against Golf X3, which we might get a little bit later on in the competition. They'll have a little bit of a chat.
Well, there was no heartbeat on that shot, which had me thinking, where is this going to end up? It was pretty good for a non-heartbeat shot. Devin might be coming down the hill a little bit. This is confidence right now, Rachel's. Jay Smithers removing the flag and getting the heartbeat from the fairway, 120 yards out.
Oh, I thought it was bouncing in. That's how confident I am in Jay Smithers. He's going to bounce in. If he takes the flag out, he's confident.
So he puts himself inside of Devin PA, and this just 10 feet, but you see that hard left to right break. Not a given here.
And he said, didn't he, Devin PA as well, he's really trying to practice more with his calculator. He's trying to be more accurate, and that's why we're seeing him take more time on each of his shots.
Well, I think with the E-Tour existing these last 2 years, for a lot of casual players, for a lot of players who think, I'm good, but how good am I? All of a sudden now they think, look, this is an e-sport. This is something that I can, make money in. This is something that I can be really successful in. I need to treat it a little bit more seriously, and that's what you get. You talk about the calculations. You talk about all the little things that you have to get done. That's a great putt from Devin PA.
And we're expecting Jay Smithers to back it up with an equally great shot, because only 3 feet to the hole, and he does it nicely there. There we go. So we're moving on to the 14th with these two players. But let's go and join the other quarterfinal on hole number 11. Dean Barr and Golf X3. Dean Barr, though, is unfortunately still 2 down, but he is a fan's favourite. Can he bounce back knowing that the community really is behind him? Golf X3, though, now with only a little 6-foot putt. Downhill, though, only slightly. Looking like it will be pretty easy for him to just put this one away.
We see him doing some quick calculations. We've also seen him stop using the timeouts, and when he's got that lead, work a little bit quicker.
Well, I was going to say, time is nearly up. Thank goodness he took it then. Birdied it. Easy as you like. Won the hole. Here we go then.
My knee buckled a little bit on that, Rachel. It was a little fast,
worried?
a little fast. Well, not so much worried. That was such a short putt, but I think he gave it a little more speed than he actually anticipated.
Well, we now are on the 12th and 3 up. That's a pretty difficult number to bounce back from at this stage in the competition. I feel like when Golf X3 gets this far away, he just runs with it. And it's so hard for Dean Barr.
You can play, I mean, if you're Golf X3, you can just play to have every hole, this way out, and you'll be done early.
Yeah.
So it's just compounding errors on Dean Barr's part. It's more than just 3 down. It feels like you're even more down.
Totally. And I actually can talk about that from experience of that competition.
Playing in this.
Competition we spoke about last year. When I was like 1 down, I was like, game over, I've had enough, I want to get out. I'm a rage quitter as well. I'm like, I'm just going to go offline. These guys will not rage quit, of course. But yeah, it does feel like it's an absolute mountain to climb right now. But I think now Dean has to enjoy the competition, knowing that he's possibly going to go out and takes all the experience and everything he's learning from this through to hopefully qualify for another event.
Listen, Dean Barr qualified as the number 3 seed. You know, that we've got 2 more events this season. There's no reason that he shouldn't find himself back in here. And if he can get a more favorable matchup than Golf X3 in the first round, I mean, like I said, congrats. This is the 6th seed that you have to face, someone who's won this 5 times. So, it's great experience, like we said, with those 2 events still left. But Golf X3, hitting heartbeat shots like this, it's just hard to stop a guy when he's spinning balls, has that golf ball in a string like that.
And it's so nice, isn't it, when you do get that heartbeat moment when you play the game as well. I know you guys watching at home, you'll say, oh, that's the best feeling out there when you do that. You get the beautiful shot. It obviously says it on the screen as well, which makes you feel a little bit better inside. But yeah, makes you play better moving forward as well, I always find.
Other than when you're Dean Barr and you see that on the other side and you're thinking, what do I have to do with this guy? For the newer players watching, you see 15 to 17 mile per hour winds, moving a slight headwind to the right. So that's why Dean Barr was aiming to the left. He's going to try to let the wind bring this back. Didn't quite bring it out enough. And now he's getting frustrated. You see that speed up right there, Rachel. You know from your experience what that means.
You don't really quite think about the shots the same way you did on your first shot on hole 1 of the day, when you're really calculating and you're looking at the wind, you're looking how far away you are from the hole. Now you're like, I'm just going to hit it and hope for the best. Don't do that, Dean Barr. You're still in it, mate.
First-time player. Well, it's the experienced players on here know the protocols for the European E-Tour.
And I love that Dean Barr is a reserve player. We can see that from his playing style and his face on the screen. And he's in the game for the community, and we can see that by everybody talking to them, to him, on the chat as well. Okay. The other quarterfinal, Jay Smithers then very much in control, 2 up as we head into the 15th right now, 3 up. Devon, PA with all the work to do.
Kind of stereotypical. We get right to Jay Smithers and it says Eagle. Just what you would expect from this guy, the way that he's playing right now.
Totally. That's not what you want to see if you're Devon, PA, of course. But Jay Smithers loves to see that. Really putting himself where he needs to be at the moment to just get himself nice and easy into semi-finals. Then he can kind of reset, wait to see who'll be joining him in that semi-final, because it will be either F. Magnets or Irish King 1916. We're still yet to see how those 2 players have got on and who will be joining him if, of course, he carries on how he is, because, he could have an absolute nightmare. I don't expect it, but anything's possible on the E-Tour.
Anything. That's what Kevin Garnett said once. That's what they say about the E-Tour, and anything is possible. Yeah, 3 down. I mean, Devon's got to find 3 of these holes in the next 4. But like you were saying with Dean Barr, gain experience right here. Devon qualified as the 8th seed. That's what landed him Jay Smithers. Maybe you qualify as a different seed in one of these next events. Maybe you can find a victory in there. You got to keep grinding. And I think Devon, he said up front, basically, knowing that he was playing Jay Smithers, this is all about experience for him.
Right, totally. So Devon, PA now, obviously, is the man adjusting at the moment. He's gone the entire way on that bar, because 213 yards to the pin. And he's hit it there 220-ish yards still. A long way from where he needs to be. Shaking his head there. Yes, he's on the green, but that is going to be a long and testing putt. Jay Smithers, though, equally a long way out. But this is the 15th par 4, so strong headwind as well. So he needs to really, you'll see, I'm sure, that the power bar at the bottom, him going all the way as well, to try and get as much power behind his shot as possible.
Yeah, this is just a really difficult shot. A second shot on a par 4, like you said, 212 with that 16 to 18 mile per hour headwind. We see him playing a 3-wood that would go 242 full. And how about the heartbeat? This guy knows his math. This guy sends one over that hill past the pin, but he's gonna love that.
He is gonna love that, and he'll love it even more, because if he wins this hole, then he's won this matchup, and he will be our first semi-finalist of the tournament here at the Hero Open. And then he can just sit and relax, and he's really got himself into the tournament. But here, look at that. I said it was far out, 30 feet out. I mean, Jeff, what should he be looking to do at this moment?
Well, I'll tell you, I'm going to be surprised if Devon actually putts this. Although it looks like he's going to putt it, I expected him to use a timeout. He's just going for it.
Wow. That was always going to be a tough ask, knowing what was at stake there. Jay Smithers, if he gets this in, which we're expecting him to do, because, okay, it's under 10 foot, so it's a pretty easy one for him to do, pretty standard, then we are saying goodbye to Devon, PA, but I really want to get a couple of words from him, because it's his debut. I want to just see how he found the entire experience. But let's just Let's just sit and watch this master at work here.
I want to know if Devin wants Jay Smithers to just finish him off here or let him linger around for one more hole.
Okay, let's just watch the master at work. Masterclass. Perfection from Jay Smithers. Look at him. Easy work there in the quarterfinals. But Devin PA, Jeff, making his debut here for the Hero Open, taking on a two-time champion from the 2021 season already. I think we should try and get a couple of words from Devin PA and just see how he found the entire experience, because I'm sure it's quite daunting. Even though he's sitting at home, he's not here under the spotlight of a studio, but it's still, when you're going up against someone of Jay Smithers' quality, you're gonna have the nerves, feel the pressure.
And we jinxed him. He was up, right? He was 1 up through 4 holes, and as soon as we start actually broadcasting what was going on, Jay Smithers turned. So there's a lot of things that Devin should take away. His irons were outstanding, I thought, for the first half today, so he should be feeling pretty good right now.
Well, Devin PA, let's have a quick word from you. Devin, commiserations, you're not taking any further part in this competition today, but just talk us through your feelings right now and how great it was to be part of this event in the first place.
Oh yeah, it's a blast. Unfortunately, against a guy like Smithers, you know, he doesn't make mistakes, and if you make a couple, he takes advantage of them. Like you guys were saying, him and I have played a lot together, but I mean, it was a blast, honestly, getting to play in one of these, and I'm going to try and qualify for the next one.
Yeah, absolutely. So you want to qualify for the next one, but how difficult, though, Devin, is it to qualify for these events? We talk about the fact that thousands of people try and do so, and you, of course, are one of the 8 that managed to do that this time out.
It's about learning the clubs and learning that course, because you have to know how to play that course in the bracket if you want to make it. And if you're smart, you'll play the bracket to try and avoid all the guys who can shoot real low.
That is it, isn't it? It's all about tactics, even in qualification, Devin. But Devin, thank you so much for being part of this tournament today. We really hope you can qualify again, and we'll see you on another event on the European E-Tour.
Yep, thanks, guys.
Thank you so much. Oh, it's so great to hear from him. Shouldn't give too many tactics away, though. Everyone will be like, oh, so you have to qualify during the bracket. OK, tactics come into play all the time. OK, well, let's go back to the other quarterfinals, taking place at the moment. We are on the 14th at Royal St George's. Dean Barr, Golf X3, 3 up. Looks like he's going to be going through to the second semi-final, where he'll wait to see if he faces Stuman 66 or Lee Hugh. They're the 2 guys in the quarter-final number 2, which we'll see a little bit later.
Yeah, the big 3 in this competition, Golf X3 got the better half in terms of being, not having to deal with F Magnets or Jay Smithers. Dean Barr, again, we don't know where this ended up because of how he just fast-forwarded, so it wasn't a heartbeat shot. I can tell you he probably didn't like it, though. You
know what? I think that's what Golf X3 possibly does. He looks at who's qualifying, and he does a Devin PA and goes, actually, I want to be in that side of the bracket.
Yeah.
I think because he's obviously coming in 6th rank today. He's not daft, that guy.
If it was that easy, I'm sure. Look, there is game strategy there. I mean, they want to be in better positions. By the way, that was not a bad shot by Dean Barr. Another solid shot by Golf X3.
Only 4 holes left to be played, though, for this quarter-final. So Dean Barr needs to do something now, because otherwise it is very much going to go Golf X3's way, like we just saw Jay Smithers doing so. Easy as you like there, Golf X3. I love that when he kind of like looks away from the camera. I'm kind of like happy with that, but I don't want to celebrate too early.
It didn't look like he hit that putt exactly as he wanted, but just a short enough putt that there was enough margin for error that goes.
Dean Barr should make this one easy as you like. Of course he does. Birdie for Dean Barr then. Hole was half, which means we go into 15th with the Golf X3 still 3 up. Yeah, look at the fact on the screen, they didn't qualify, did he, for the last tournament. The first of your tournaments here, Jeff, the BMW Invitational.
I felt like it was something I said or something that he didn't want to be a part of it.
He knew you were here. He was like, I don't want to work with that guy this time out. Maybe next time. He was like, actually, you did a great job. I'm going to come and join in.
Well,
I'm joking, by the way. My jokes are terrible.
No. It is outstanding British dry humor. But I'll tell you that, you know, for those who don't know, he was in all 6 events the first year, wins 5 of them, wins the grand finals. You're thinking, as long as the E-Tour exists, will anyone even show up to try to beat this guy? He loses to Jay Smithers in the first event this year, doesn't make the last one. And it's good to see him out here controlling this match, because a lot of people were asking, where is Golf X3? Can he get back to the form he was in the past?
Yeah, and he obviously can only meet Jay Smithers as well in the final, which will make the Tastiest final as well. Would love to see that one, because I mentioned it before, those guys are such good friends. It's always great because they actually chat to each other during the broadcast as well. Maybe not the back 9, but the front 9, there's a bit of banter going on. Not when it comes down to the business end of the tournament, though. OK, so Dean Barr, lots of work to do on the 15th now. He's gone the entire power bar there. Excellent stroke. Strong wind, as we'd expect from these links courses. Little bit too far, though, for anyone's liking on that one. Golf X3 doing his calculations, taking his time. This has to count because he knows what's up for grabs, which is that spot in those semi-finals. And last year as well, it was the only player who we'd expect to be qualified that got a win when Golf X3 didn't. That was Young 46. A legend in WGT. He took the win. I think it was the Ned Bank. Unfortunately, didn't qualify, which shows the quality of the players on the WGT platform. And it shows how good the likes of Dean Barr are to actually make it through here, Jeff.
Yeah, this is a great heartbeat shot by Golf X3. Just trying to have this, or perhaps win this hole to end the match, have to make it dormy. And, you know, this is the second competition that Young 46 has not made. The first was Abu Dhabi, which meant he did not get to meet the Rachel Stringer. I don't know what, you know, maybe that was the opposite of what you said with Golf X3.
You didn't want to travel to Abu Dhabi. I mean, of course you do. No.
He still talks about that, surprising that he wasn't able to be a part of that. And I'm sure he's watching here because he will, in all likelihood, be in the grand finals. There is still scouting to be done. And just because you don't make one of these events does not mean you're out of the whole, in the running for the entire season.
No, totally. But look at this. Look at exactly what Dean Barr has to do. A 25-foot putt here, slightly downhill, which we know can sometimes run away from you if you get it a little bit wrong. Got it right, though. Look at the reaction in the screen there. He's liking that.
Dean Barr, what a character. Didn't even let us,
What is that?
didn't even want us to see it.
I know.
Didn't even want us to see it.
Out of there. Obviously made it nice, it went in.
Just wanted to bury it. Golf X3 did not react at all to anything that was going on.
Golf X3, that goes in. Techie issues we hear from Dean Barr there. That's because we're bringing you this from all around the world. But we're now on the 16th. Okay, this is where it's going to be won or lost, right? This is it.
Par 3 here. I mean, Dean Barr can play the best hole. He, you know, if he doesn't make a hole in one and he leaves that door open for a birdie, Golf X3 is. I feel like he's frustrated right now. He's got places to go, people to see, and he's got to play one more extra hole after what Dean Barr just did.
Got some studying to do, actually. Yeah. He's probably got some homework to do before he has to go back to college on maybe Monday next week. I don't know what his schedule's like. It's probably pretty hectic. Here we go. Golf X3 flag stick removed. That's how confident he is here.
He's pulling at what we saw from Jay Smithers from the fairway. Golf X3. I'm sure he has had a hole-in-one on this hole in his play before, but we didn't see a heartbeat there.
That's hard when he takes the flag stick out. Golf X3, you're making it very difficult for us here. Didn't see a heartbeat. Okay, Dean Barr, you have to step up to the plate now, my man. No.
I believe.
On the green.
Yes, and so that's what we saw. Thank you, Dean Barr, for giving us that replay to the world of Golf X3 so we could see exactly what went on. And now he knows what he has to do.
Flag stick removed, too. That's confidence there, isn't it?
Well, there's a part of you that's thinking you saw where Golf X3 was. If you have the hole, it's done. Dean Barr might have to be thinking right now, I have to go for it all. I have to try and make that hole-in-one, and there's the top spin that we talked about.
Waiting to see it until hole 16. We just get a little bit of a glimpse of it right now. Is it paying off? Ooh, it's running away from him again.
Well, we don't see the heartbeat. The reason that you do something like that, right? So many players use backspin because you can just focus on where you land the ball and it won't run away from you. Top spin, when you're trying to get a hole-in-one, you want that ball to be rolling as hard as possible to give yourself the best chance to roll into the hole.
Dean Barr then with a make or break putt now. I'd expect him to take a lot of time on this one. He's going for it. Slightly over that heartbeat moment, but oh, so close there from Dean. He's going to be gutted with that one.
So Golf X3 not even wasting any time. He just needs a 2-putt to win. Lips it out a bit. All that'll do, Rachel, is affect the official score. Oh, you know what? I take it back. After Dean missed that, oh, that was Golf X3 missing, excuse me.
Dean Barr putting out for the par there. Clapping because he knows what that means. Golf X3 is the winner in the quarterfinals. No celebration from him because he's got a lot of work still to be done, so we can forgive him for that, Jeff, at this moment in time. We hope a bit later he is going to be showing the celebrations we've seen from him in the past. But Dean Barr then, again, a great debut for him. I want to have a quick chat with Dean right now and just get his thoughts on his first time playing on the European E-Tour. Dean, again, commiserations. It was so great to see what you're made of and see what you have in your locker, but it wasn't to be today. You had to go up against the one, the only, the WGT legend of Golf X3. Just sum up your feelings at the moment, Dean.
I knew it was going to be tough. I was super nervous at the start. I had some camera issues, as you could tell. I'm on my phone with my camera, yeah, I stumbled out of the block pretty decently, like a true champ. But I gave it the best I could, and I knew it was going to be hard. I mean, Peyton, Smithers, those guys, they're veterans. They know what they're doing. So as soon as you miss a few easy putts, then it kind of goes downhill from there.
But Dean, obviously, we'd love to see you back here in the future for another tournament. How will you settle those nerves if you are to make it through next time? Because obviously that is what you're saying was why you didn't possibly play your best today.
Well, yeah, once you've done it, I believe it's a little bit easier next time. I know the routine. I know the check-in. I know the scheduling and stuff. All that stuff just had me on my edge, and I'm pretty sure I'll play a little bit better next time. Well, I'm pretty sure I will.
You will.
Dean, we saw a lot of your fans out there in the chat, a lot of people throwing you support. You know, how does that feel, you making your debut, and a lot of people probably hoping you'd get there and then celebrating you actually being in the field?
You know what? I've got a tight group of people in my country club, friends with almost all of them. You know, I just think it's awesome. I love the support. I wish I could have done better, but keep on keeping on. It was fun. I really had a good time, even though I'm still shaking.
Well, go and settle those nerves, because everyone was saying, Dino, 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 we hope we'll see you back here on another E-Tour event. Thank you so much for being a great competitor.
Thank you, guys. Thank you very much.
Love that. I love what a great person he is in the community as well. It's so lovely to see.
The heartbeat shots are real.
They're real.
Right? They're real.
He's shaking, he said. OK, well, some people that are not shaking have made it safely through to the semi-finals. Let's check out the tournament bracket right now and see who those guys are and who's still in with a shot of making it through to the grand finals. There we have it. Jay Smithers, 4 up over Devon PA, and Golf X3, 3 up against Devon Barr, who we heard from just there. But our next quarterfinal, Struman 66 against Lee Hugh. Lee Hugh, another player making his debut against, I keep saying debuts, there's so many people making their debuts. 4, in fact.
One in each.
One in each, which is very evenly spread as well, which isn't that good because they're all getting someone that's got so much experience on the E-Tour. Lee Hugh, what do we know about him, Jeff?
Well, this is different, this one, because actually Struman has experience in only one event. He's only been in one European E-Tour event. So that's where I think that Lee Hugh might have a chance. And the other thing with him, he's from the coast of Washington State in the U.S. So I am interested to see if he chooses Chambers Bay.
Okay, well, let's find out right now because this quarterfinal has in fact already been played. So these are the highlights we're going to bring you right now to see who is making it through to that semi-final and who will be playing Golf X3. So Struman 66, he's a competitor we've seen before. He takes the lead early on, is 1 up as we head into the 7th here. Lee Hugh with work to do early doors.
Yeah, Struman made the semifinals of the 2020 BMW PGA Championship, lost to Young 46 in that event. So he lost, no slouch, he lost to one of the top players. So he was the guy with experience here. And these are two guys who play on the same country club in WGT, so they know each other very well.
Yeah, totally. Playing obviously at different course. Now they're playing over at St Andrews. So the other course in the UK this time out because we have an American course as well. Heartbeat moments though there from Struman 66, loving that with an eagle.
Yeah, Struman spins that back on 12. That put him 3 up, and that is just going to crush Lee Hugh, who tried to battle back. How about rimming that birdie in to win the hole? So that's a great response that Lee Hugh had.
Lee Hugh there looks so focused as well, doesn't he, on the game in hand with another excellent stroke there. Just, you can see there, heartbreak. He kind of gives a bit of a clap to Struman, but he knows that was probably the turning point.
Yeah, that was his opportunity there. Left the door open for Struman to put the match away on the 15th hole, winning that 4-3.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Struman 66 is the man that makes it through to the semi-final, and he is joining Golf X3 in that semi-final, which is a really tricky ask. But let's now turn our attention to the final quarter-final then, because there was still one semi-final spot up for grabs, and that was between F Magnet from the UK taking on Irish King 1916. I wonder where Irish King was from, Jeff?
Yeah, he gave it away a little bit. Had the Irish flag in the background, Rachel.
Ireland, of course. Okay, so let's see how this one unfolded. This, again, was played earlier, so these are the highlights for you now. F Magnet's 3 up on the 7th. He was completely dominating from the outset there. And that was such a lovely birdie on the 7th there. Could Irish King respond with anything? Ooh, no, just missing that one.
Yeah, he thought that would bend the same way that it did Chambers Bay. That's the first time that we've seen that. Those greens, so tricky. But F Magnet's so good with the putter, although put that a little too far out.
Yeah, 4 up then as we go on to the back 9 on hole number 11. Really taking it to Irish King and showing him what he is made of. Didn't look like it was to be Irish King's day. But again, I really would love to have spoken to him. He looks like such a character. Got his flag flying behind him.
Oh, I'd love to hear what he's mumbling under his breath as he takes all of these putts. Irish King actually qualified as the better player, was the 4 seed over F Magnets, but F Magnets, someone who's made at least the semifinal in every event this year, just continuing on as he will make his 3rd straight semifinal.
5 up then. Was the score that F Magnets won in the end over Irish King. And let's finally remind ourselves of who exactly is playing who in those semi-finals. They'll be coming your way shortly. So, semi-final number 1, Jay Smithers taking on F Magnets. That's hot. Then the other one's just as hot. Struman 66 taking on Golf X3, the 2020 E-Tour champion. Those two, which one are you most excited about, Jeff?
Well, Jay Smithers, F Magnets. And part of it is F Magnets now has made 7 semifinals in 7 events. He's made a couple finals, but he just can't beat those big players. That's who he's trying to get past. He's got another opportunity here with Jay Smithers.
Is today going to be the day? We're going to find out very soon. But for now, I need to watch this one carefully because this is exactly what happened last time out when I wasn't here. You were. This is the BMW Invitational. Enjoy this one, guys.
Another chance now for F Magnets to end this match. Big left to right breaker, Gabby. He wants to let it come off the
Oh, he just misses it. He cannot believe what he's just seen.
F Magnets is going to take all the time that he needs to extend the match. Wow. F Magnets just over the side, and Young 46 is headed to the final of the BMW International Open. Too much speed. That's his second straight hole. He's missed a left to right putt on the left side.
Game face on there for Jay Smithers. He hasn't reacted to that one.
And now he's 3 up again with 3 to play.
Good game, Josh. I know you can't hear me, but killed it.
And now we have our final.
But an excellent stroke from Jay Smithers, and a little bit too long. Young 46, not only is he longer, but he's going to have to putt downhill. And that's just too easy for Jay Smithers. This guy is a machine. They both left themselves with the same bad angle putts, 3 inches downhill.
Ah! Damn it, Josh.
Well, that's the error he was looking for to get him back in the game.
Oh, Jason, what are you doing?
If Young 46 thinks he's got a shot at making this can keep him in the match and really put some pressure on Jay Smithers. Oh, Young 46. Now Jay Smithers with an opportunity to go 2 up with 2 to play.
That's exactly the window I wanted to see.
Wow.
Young 46 is just trying to put this on the green, and really he has to roll this thing in to extend the match. And he just came up a touch short, and that leaves the door open for Jay Smithers to win once again. His second title of the season. This comes at the BMW International Open.
You are a winner. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling wonderful.
Will any of that money be spent on the children as well around you?
Oh, all of it always is, man. I'll take $10, get a nice Subway sandwich, and after that, you know, they can divvy up the rest.
Last year, you were playing for fun. This year, you're taking things more seriously. What is different about your mindset?
You know, I got so close last year, I realized that all I got to do is put in a little more work, and I can win a few of these things.
Well, absolutely. You've already won 2 in a row, may I add. So what's it looking like for the third, surely, when it gets to that stage?
The plan is to win them all.
Josh ain't going to win the next one. I'll be back. Trust me.
I love that quote from Jay Smithers. Put in a bit more work and I might be able to win it. Well, that's usually how it works, Jay Smithers. You know, you put in the hard work and the results come. But I love that his family were there celebrating with him, and you asked him, what is he going to spend the money on? The kids? Well, of course, I always spend the money on the kids.
Well, he said that a golden retriever might be in the cards for the family, and I believe the family already has 2 dogs, so they want even more. But listen, he continues to rack up cash this year, so I think save it up, see what happens. Also, just great to see the emotion of Jay Smithers. We mentioned, you know, in the pandemic, like so many people, his life has gone ping-ponged around back and forth, and for him to be getting this cash, for him to be getting this success, just an incredible story.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that story. I love Jay Smithers, but he is going up against someone who is ready to knock him off that top spot. It's F Magnets that we always talk about as being one of the best in the game. He's yet to really prove himself, isn't he? Especially in season 1 and now in season 2. Still hasn't taken top honours, but this is the guy, Chris Aitken, of course. He spends a lot of time in Brazil. He's obviously from the UK. He is such a great guy in the game, but what do you think he needs to do this time to take it to Jay Smithers?
Well, I'll tell you that he did tell us he's been seeing we'll get into this. He's been seeing a mental coach, Jay Smithers first, who we're going to take a look at here. 2 wins this season. He's the man to beat. We knew what we were getting to coming in. You wouldn't have said this before the season. You would have thought Golf X3 would be the top player, but Jay Smithers undefeated so far this season.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's have a look at their head-to-head then, shall we? Because these guys have played each other, of course, a couple of times in the past. But each all matches, Jay Smithers 26 to F Magnets is 22, 18 to 30 in terms of wins. One draw. How many times they lost? Very close again. F Magnets 9 to Jay Smithers is 7. I mean, looking at that, there isn't much in it. Okay, the win percentage is the only one that's really standing out.
On paper, it looks very similar in terms of just the body of work, but of course, Jay Smithers has those 2 titles this year. They met the event you called earlier this year, Rachel, the Portugal Masters. They met in the finals, and it was Jay Smithers getting the win there.
Yeah, absolutely was, of course, because he's the guy that's taking all the points, taking all the cash, and taking all the glory as it stands at the moment. But that is semi-final number 1. We can jump into that as well because that has already started, so we can see how they're getting on at the moment. It's early doors, of course, in this one. Jay Smithers taking on F Magnets, a tasty matchup in the semi-finals. They're starting on, well, we're joining them, sorry, on hole number 2, and it's a little bit of an upset. 1 up to F Magnets. I'm saying an upset. I shouldn't be saying that because these guys are such great competitors and people in the community. This is very early doors, so I'm not going to really. I'm taking back upset.
Well, no, you know why? I'm going to stand by what you said.
Thank you.
Partly because, as Jay Smithers has a downhill putt here, we heard it from Devin PA earlier. No one wants to play Jay Smithers at Chambers Bay, allegedly. As he misses another putt there, it trickles back. This is supposed to be basically Jay Smithers' home course. This is where he's supposed to dominate you with the putter. But for F Magnets to not only play here, but jump out in front with that first hole win and now have an opportunity to keep pace here on the second hole, he should be feeling pretty good about this start.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I'd like to know a bit more about why they think Chambers Bay is the place they don't want to face Jay Smithers on. But so far, so good for F Mags now, with a very easy putt to go. Oh, F Mags won the hole. There we go. Wow. Okay, so we're 2 up now. Into the third. F Magnus looking like the one who is controlled. Jay Smithers, though, shouldn't be worried at this early point in the competition. And if he loves Chambers Bay so much, maybe he'll bounce back. Maybe he prefers the back 9. We'll have to wait and see on that one. Why do you think this possibly suits Jay Smithers' game?
Well, I think Jay Smithers is more of a field player than some of the other players in the field. He likes this adds more elements, more variables. Chambers Bay. There's so much elevation. There's so much. There's different wind. The greens have all sorts of waves in them. It's a much more difficult course. So I think Jay Smithers just feels that he can outplay everyone at a course like this.
Well, we'll have to wait and see if he can outplay F Magnets on a course like this, because it is time to go and talk about our next semi-final, because we obviously have 2. The next one, Stuman 66 is taking on our champion, our reigning champion from the 2020 E-Tour in the form of Golf X3. So this is Stuart Johnson here, another American, 55 years of age, has been playing since 2009, plays a couple of hours a day. E-Tour tournaments, this is his second one. We already saw him last year on the E-Tour, making his debut there. So he's put those nerves to bed last year. He's going up against a youngster, though, in the form of Golf X3. This guy, last season, could do no wrong. Has had a few blips this season. We didn't even see him, did we, last time? Jeff, 22 years of age, though. Only plays, allegedly, for 1 hour a day. I'm not always buying that one. Tournament victories, 5, okay? 2, only Stuman playing twice on the E-Tour. I'm going to say that's a deciding factor here. But, Jeff, take me through this head-to-head here.
Well, Golf X3, I believe now, less than half the age of both his competitors today, but you see there significantly more experience on the E-Tour than Stuman. Those 28 wins, just incredible stuff, only 5 losses. His win percentage, everything has been incredible. The only thing that you can say negative about Golf X3 is he didn't qualify for the last event, and he didn't win the first event. So what is his form? We're going to see here in the semifinal. Also, I just want to say on Stuman, qualified via Chromebook. That is not something you see often, Rachel, and it's also a lot of these players who've been playing the game for so long are now adjusting to different forms of playing the game as this becomes such a competitive e-sport.
Well, let's join the semi-final, because Golf X3 is actually putting right now on the second. If he putts this, he is going to win this hole. A pretty easy Under 10-foot putt here, slightly uphill. We know this is more of a favourable one to do. Again, on Royal St George's once again. This is something we've already seen a little bit. St Andrews, we already saw this a little bit earlier. Was it Golf X3 who was playing on St Andrews? No, he was playing St George's. It was Stuman who was playing on St Andrews, I believe, earlier. So he has a bit of experience on this. So can use that in his advantage. I don't know, at this stage, it's a bit too early to say, but I'd say so. You already played a tournament on that course. Going straight into it, it's going to be in your favour.
That's what you definitely think. Golf X3, I'm sure he's played St Andrews, you know, 500,000 to 1 million times in this game. Who knows? He plays so, you know, he only practices an hour a day, but he plays so much that I'm sure he has played here a lot. For Stuman, we saw some of the highlights of his first round against LaHue, and it comes down to putting at St Andrews. Very similar to Royal St. All three of these courses, because of their link style, so much of it will be putting, and St Andrews just a classic putting venue with large greens, especially after you get past this second hole.
Oh, this is Golf X3 then. Birdie there, won the hole. So is now 1 up, going on to the third. So let's see what happens on this hole. So Golf X3 is up first. This is a very long third hole. Par 4, almost 400 yards there. Slight headwind as well, which we always expect from these kind of courses. Yeah, as long as you're on the fairway, not in a bunker. I love to be in the bunkers when I play here at St Andrews. I'm always somewhere where I shouldn't be, Jeff. That's it. But nicely done then for Golf X3. Waiting now for Stuman to see what he can do if he gets in a similar location. Again, if I was Stuman, I'd probably just follow suit of Golf X3 and try and match him shot for shot.
Well, we see they're both putting less spin on the ball, which you know, you're relying on really your skill here to keep that ball straight, because you don't want to run it off the fairway. These links courses dramatically different when that ball rolls off of that fairway surface. It's cooking a little bit. It's going to slow down in time.
It's not going to go in that bunker. Come on, it's far away from that.
You never know. These things roll out.
But favouring, I guess, slightly the left-hand side of the course to Peyton, who was kind of going more central there, which I guess I would try and do, because it make it a little bit easier, you think, in the long run, so you're not going to get in the kind of fescue or in any of the bunkers that like to lurk around this course. Flag stick was removed. It's replaced because it's only just under 100 yards now to the pin. The wind slightly coming in from the left as well, so that's always taken into consideration. You have to adjust your shot accordingly for that.
And that's what Stuman needs right now, with the heartbeat coming in from that angle from the left side. And that is a beautiful shot from Stuman. Maybe putting himself on the left side of the fairway, thinking that that would give him a better angle toward the hole. Golf X3, he's dealt with pressure in the past.
Well, yeah, and he was dealing with the wind, of course, as well, wasn't he? He was kind of having to deal with quite a few factors there. So let's see what his opponent can do at the moment. Taking his time. 45 seconds on the clock for each shot. As we mentioned before, they have 5 timeouts. Well, 5 is out, timed out completely.
Yes. Get out, literally get out.
But yeah, it's actually, oh no, I was going to say 10 seconds to go. That's still quite a lot of time there. Not a heartbeat. And not as close to the pin as Stuman 66 was there. Oh, rolled all the way down into that divot there. Golf X3 looking around his room as if saying, I didn't really like that.
I think he's trying to feel the wind. Maybe there was something that he didn't feel with the wind in his room. You know, it's interesting when you play a course like St Andrews. These guys have played so many times, but the greens have so many different depressions that if you just miss the hole with these pin locations, if you just slightly miss, your ball will roll away from the pin, and that's what he's dealing with here.
Yeah, totally. This is quite a tricky putt then for Golf X3. There's a lot of variables to take into consideration here, and it's uphill and it's quite far away. So a lot to think about, but he's not wasting any time. He's got 2 seconds on the clock left. He's taken it. Whoa, that was close. That was close. I thought that was close to going in there. Fine margins in this game.
great speed that Golf X3 has displayed throughout the day. I said one of the interesting parts about, Rachel, me being actually here, focused, calling these events, is you're able to see hole by hole everything, how everything adjusts. We saw in that first matchup, Jay Smithers was not as sharp as normal. Golf X3, I think his speed around the greens has been incredible, even if he left the door open there for Stuman.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that is all squared now in that second semi-final, which takes us nicely onto our first semi-final. So F Magnets is still in the driving seat on this one, 2 up as we join this match on the fifth. Par 4 here. Again, a very long par for 500 yards to this pin. Downhill now. You can see the elevation change there. 100 feet downhill, which is quite something.
Downhill, downwind. It was actually Jay Smithers that told me when I asked him about this, Rachel. He deals with, he adds 1/3, he adds the amount of elevation, he'll add 1/3 of that for yards. If it's uphill, he'll take that away if it's downhill. So think about 1/3 for him. He's a little bit more of a field player than some of the others who use those calculators, but that's the Jay Smithers way, as he told me.
Probably the right way, right?
Well, you'd think, right? That's he told me that last year, so I will say maybe something's changed this year, but that's how he roughly deals with everything, and he's the guy to beat this season.
Well, that looks like a pretty tricky pin location, doesn't it? If you go a bit too short there, you're going in that bunker. Bit too long, you're probably rolling off the green. So, again, a lot to take into account. Excellent heartbeat moment, though, for Jay Smithers. It doesn't look like he's going to go in the bunker or roll off. He's going to get very close to that flag stick. Look at it go. How close is he going to be? Ooh, and it rolls slightly. It always does something in the air. Beautiful, though.
Yeah, still with the heartbeat and still with the beautiful shot. I said it earlier, I think Chambers Bay is the hardest course in this game. I think that you're dealing with so many different elements and variables. And even this hole, right, we saw that tee shot was so far downhill, and now you're coming back uphill with the second shot. You're constantly thinking about those elevations. You're constantly dealing with the wind. And on top of that, you have to wonder about which way the greens are going.
And you mentioned it earlier, didn't you? This is a rematch of the first event, the final at the first event, where F Magnets was the unlucky runner-up in that one. Jay Smithers obviously took the victory there, as he did last night at the BMW Invitational as well. Heartbeat moment, though, for F Magnets on these massive greens here. It's a par 4 because the greens are so long. It was about 500 yards at the beginning of this one. Beautiful, though. These guys are matched at the moment, even though F Magnets is still 2 up at this stage.
Yeah, great response with that iron from F Magnets. F Magnets lost 4 times last year. 4 events he got knocked out of, all by Golf X3. He comes out this year, he lost to Jay Smithers in that final in Portugal that you talked about, and then he lost to Young 46 in the semifinals in the BMW International Open. So he's only lost to the best players, but he needs to figure out how to get past them.
When is it going to be F Magnets Day? That is the question. Is it going to be today? So far, it looks like it could be. If Jay Smithers continues to make very fine mistakes like that, when it just kind of clips the edge of that hole and rolls slightly to the side. Ouch, that's going to hurt.
I'd say F Magnets needs to contain his emotion, but he's not changing any expression right now. He can go 3 up through 5, not what we expected to see, but F Magnets downhill, can he take control, add to his control? He already has control. Can he add to his control of this match?
You can see it's slightly moving, isn't it? Again, from left to right as well, this pin location. So he obviously tries to angle it that way. He does it perfectly. Birdie on the 5th, winning that hole, going 3 up. Wow, he's looking like the calmest dude as well, isn't he? Sitting there, he never really looks at the camera. He never shows his emotion. He always plays down his chances as well, Jeff. If you talk to him, before his match, he's like, oh, I'm going to try and do my best. In the very British gentleman way, he likes to go about his business, which I love to see, but I want sometimes that fire, the excellent shots, which is what we are seeing from him right now. Again, look at how long, massive these fairways are here at Chambers Bay.
This is another difficult long par 4. 510 yards, but the elevation, it does affect things. Now, let me say this about F. Magnets, okay? He said that the BMW International Open, which he made the semifinals, he said he was a little bit under the weather that day, and that's what he chalked a little bit of that up to. But what has he done to prepare for this tournament? Well, this is what he told us. He said he's gone to see a mental coach or psychology expert to talk about the mental aspect of the game. It's actually someone who he met through WGT. These are the words of F. Magnets. He lives in the middle of nowhere, Sweden. At the moment, he only communicates with the outside world through WGT. So whoever you are, whoever this wise Swedish mental coach is, it's working right now for F. Magnets. I assume that person is watching here in the WGT world, Rachel.
Get on the chat, Jeff, and see if he's tuning in. He may now be answering you, or he may have tweeted in to the E-Tour as well. I said, if you guys have any questions, find us on social, because we'll try and answer as many as you have, or just join us in the chat, because Jeff is kind of keeping all over that as well, and trying to answer or say hello to as many of you as possible. But let's go back to the action here then on the 6th, with, again, a strong wind in from the left, almost 20 miles an hour there. It's not really playing that much havoc with these players because they know how to deal with that. But F. Magnets now just calculating his next shot on this par 4. Again, he's obviously taken one shot at the moment, and that's taken him about 300 yards closer to the pin. Still 200 yards to go. Well, let's see what he's doing here. Slightly changing the spin, not much, going all the way on the power bar. Didn't quite get a heartbeat. Let's see where this one ends up. Not as close as you'd like. Still rolling, but I don't think it's... Ooh. Maybe I'm speaking too soon.
Yeah, that got up on the hill. I wasn't sure if it was going to get up. I thought he might be a little bit under a club, but he'll have an opportunity here to keep pace with a birdie try. By the way, in the chat, Jim White said as this match was starting, Smithers at Chambers, look out. Irish King 1916, fresh off his loss, said F. Mags at Chambers, look out. I be licking the wounds as we type. So maybe Irish King saw something in that first matchup that we all should have seen.
There we go. Okay, well, let's see. This putt looks like a little bit of a tricky one here for F. Mags. Slightly downhill. A lot of movement on this green, but an excellent stroke all the same. And he absolutely nails that one for a birdie. And Jason has even left the room. Oh, no, he's back. I spoke too soon there. He was maybe just going for a quick bathroom break. Many didn't see that putt from F. Magnets, which I'm going to say was probably a good thing because it was so slick. It was so good. Jay Smithers now with it all to do.
I mean, Jay Smithers has to make this or he goes 4 down through 6. So now Jay Smithers just trying to tread water against F. Magnets.
Excellent. Is it going to go short? Wow. That is something we never see from Jay Smithers. Fine mistakes like that is unheard of in Jay Smithers' game, and I don't know what's happening to that man today.
I'm in shock, but I'm not in 100% shock because there were some holes that Jay Smithers showed in that first matchup, and I think they're coming back to bite him a little bit here because F. Magnets, you know, like IRL golf, sometimes you just show up and it's your day. F. Magnets woke up, and today it just feels like there's something different. He is in form. Jay Smithers is trying to figure everything out.
It's also a mental game, isn't it? If you're not quite on your game mentally, then, you know, then it's not your day. And maybe Jay Smithers has taken his foot off the pedal and just relaxing because he's got, you know, 2 titles already. He possibly knows he's already going to those global finals, and maybe he had a little bit of a rest and a downtime to spend time with his kids, enjoy the prize money he'd already won. I'd like to find out exactly why he's not having his day so far. But there's still another game going on, of course, the semi-final number 2. That's between Stuman 66 and Golf X3. Golf X3 1 down still to Stuman 66. The hole was half there. I'm talking football now. Stuman, though, he is the man on your screen at the moment. He's a guy that's only actually been to 2 E-Tour events. This is his second one up against Golf X3, who's won 5 out of 6 events from last year. But Stuman is the man who is 1 up at the moment. A little bit of spin on this for Stuman. I love his style. I love it when they dress their avatars up.
Full fedora, maybe not exactly looking like he's on the golf course, but that's what you can do here with WGT. And look, we have not seen much of that today. That's in the rough. Someone in the chat was asking why not put topspin on these drives. That's an example of it. You don't want to miss the fairway, and when you do hit with topspin, you are leaving yourself open to missing fairways.
There we go, no mistakes there from Golf X3. Nicely down the middle of that fairway.
You don't want to get too cute with things right now. Stuman, 1 up through 5. That's a great place to be, and you don't want to let that slip just because you can't see the light too early. You're not going to put anything away on the front 9 with Golf X3.
No, that's not a defining place to be at the moment, is it? 1 up. If he was 3, I'd say, yeah, you're in this, but you need to just play steady golf at this stage in the competition. Just make sure every shot counts, every putt goes in.
And if you're looking at WGT analytics, look at the situation here. Golf X3 in the fairway, Stuman not in the fairway. Your odds of beating Golf X3 on this hole are very slim.
Very slim indeed. Well, I'd say they're pretty equal at the moment.
Just those.
Heartbeat, though. Love to see that.
And that's a nice shot. Just those 88 yards out. Such a juxtaposition going from Chambers Bay to St. Andrews. So many of the approach shots on St. Andrews are you have a wedge or a short iron in your hand. It's a different sort of game. Guys are probably going to get closer in there. While Chambers Bay, and that might be part of why F Magnets things are working right now, you're using 3 woods and 3 irons and low shots to try to get in on those greens at Chambers Bay.
Yep, exactly. Well, Stuman here, under 100 yards out. He loves to change the spin, but not massively. So just maybe it's one of his kind of superstitions. I just need to just slightly change it. Let's see what he can do here. Slightly up in terms of elevation. Only a foot though. Heartbeat moment. How close is he going to be? Is he going to be inside golf? Wow! I'm going to applaud that, Stuman. He applauds himself. A little fist pump there. Golf X3 sitting back going, what am I seeing?
Stuman says, I don't care about your analytics, Jeff. I'm just going to put this thing in the hole. Stuman not showing any emotion, but wow, you can show emotion after an eagle. I don't care if it's the front 9, Rachel.
Stuman was listening to you. That's why. He was like, what is this guy going on about? I did that on purpose, just slightly out to the right, because I wanted the right angle to get in with a shot like that.
He did have a great angle in, so incredible stuff from Stuman. I have no problems with that, Stuman. Your Red Sox shirt, the Boston Red Sox shirt that he's wearing right now. As a New York Yankees fan, Rachel, I have more problems with that, but incredible stuff from Stuman so far. I'm
going to ask my producer, can we do shots of the day? Because right now I'm putting that as the shot of the day, the shot of the tournament here at the Hero Open 2021. I'm not sure that is a thing on the E-Tour, but maybe we'll clip it up and put it out on the socials later on, because I love to see that. Okay, Golf X3. He has to respond now. Do not get in that bunker. Whoa! I thought that was going a little bit too close for comfort there. Still rolling. No. No, we're not. On the fairway. Nicely done. On the 7th here. Back to this man. The underdog, I'm allowed to say it in this matchup. 100%. Stuman 66, only the 2nd time we have seen him on the E-Tour going up against Golf X3, the youngest competitor at 22. I believe Stuman, was he, let's not get it, 50?
He's 55.
55. Okay, there we go. So Golf X3 much younger than him. But I'm going to say maybe Stuman has more time on his hands to play, because Golf X3 is a busy guy. He's got his studying to do alongside this. We don't know. Let's have a look at what Stuman 66 does for a job.
He might be playing WGT full time for a living after the way that he's played today. Just incredible stuff from Stuman and Golf X3. You saw it, the youngest player in the field. He's won 5 of 6 events. And listen, Stuman, no surprise, as Rachel points out to me right now, he's an architect, and he has been mastering the architecture of St. Andrews right now.
Probably designed the course. We probably should go back and check the facts there. Jeff, did you not check the facts?
I have the facts. Would you like? We can go into the facts right now, because I have some great St. Andrews nuggets.
Love it, please.
Right
Hit me with them.
St. Andrews, allegedly, as the legend goes, is the oldest golf course in the world, the home of golf. golf being played as early as the 15th century. But get this, King James II of Scotland banned golf in 1457 because he thought young men should be playing archery. Okay? King James III kept that up, but King James IV, a golfer himself, brought golf back in 1502.
Well, 2 semi-finals now going on at the same time. A lot to get your head around, as well as Jeff's facts. So much going on over here. But F. Magnus, if he holds this one, keep your eyes peeled. He will be 5 up over the 2-time champion Jay Smith. He does. He gets it. F. Magnus 1 out. Can you believe, Jeff, what we are seeing over there in semi-final number 1? The domination from F. Magnus.
Semi-final number 1, semi-final number 2. The WGT community is being turned upside down right now because what we are looking at right now would be an F. Magnus versus Stewman final, and both of them with strong leads. I'll say Stewman with a strong lead here. Which part?
F. Magnus, Stewman final.
That's what we might see, F. Magnus versus Stewman, which of course would give us our a new champion for the first time.
I did never expect to hear that when I flew over to Copenhagen today.
You've had a wild day, Rachel, to get here. I know you had some time in the airport. You're being delayed to think about all this. You envision all the different final matchups, and I don't think you had Stewman F. Magnus penned as one of the options.
There we go. Okay, well, Stewman 66 is up now in the lead, 2 up.
He's 55, Rachel.
55,
don't give him 66.
No,
I'm kidding.
Now he's testing me because he knows my brain's a little bit fuzzy today. But no, we're here. We are ready and raring to go to see. Oh, okay. Timeout. Expiring there.
Catch your breath, Stewman. Catch your breath. You got a 2-shot lead. We haven't seen a lot of timeouts on the tee. Of course, this is a par 3. But Stewman clearly knows I would say this is the first time we're really seeing Stewman recognize what the position that he's in right now.
Oh,
Maybe
totally.
that eagle surprised him. He's 2 up. They've played 7 holes. This is his match to lose at this point.
He doesn't want to let what he's just done, that brilliant shot there, kind of just, get the better of him. And he doesn't want to rest on his laurels. He wants to keep pushing now and get a better advantage. And I wonder if he's actually watching what's happening in the other semi-final, because again, that in itself could give him great confidence.
You wonder how locked in he is. They're probably just assuming that Jay Smithers is going to win, or at least it'll be a close match. Of course, if you're just joining us, F. Magnus 5 up right now over Jay Smithers in the other semifinal. So our heads are spinning. Everyone's trying to figure this out. Golf X3 is trying to right the universe right now with a good shot on the tee at 8.
Yeah, because Stewman 66 as well. So the Jay Smithers, he seemed unstoppable. Well, he's being stopped at the moment by F. Magnus, as Jeff just said, because I think he's the favourite. He's definitely the favourite. Let me change what I just said there.
In our odds making, he's the favourite.
Of course
Golf
he's the
X3.
Can't.
He's the
discount
6th
him.
seed. The 6th seed. Stewman did qualify as the 2 seed. So on paper, you would put it that way. If this was NCAA March Madness, Stewman would be the favourite, but another time out by Golf X3.
Why are they both timing out on this? Because it doesn't look like the trickiest hole.
It's a par 3, a strong tailwind right now. It's a hard shot. I think that Golf X3 now also just recognizing, kind of going shot for shot with Stewman, that he used the timeout. He tried to make this precise. You're on the 8th hole. You're 2 down. You might as well start using those timeouts and put yourself in a position to get back in this.
That's what he's doing right now, though.
It just surprises me, Rachel, on a tee shot, that it's not a situation that these players have seen themselves in.
No, totally. You don't usually have your timeouts there, but it works because we see a heartbeat moment for Golf X3. How close does he get to the hole? Pretty nice. It looks like it will be a birdie for both these players, possibly Stewman a little bit further out on your screens there. So as that is the case, we then go to Stewman first to see if he can putt this for the birdie.
It looked like, at least on screen, that Stewman would have a little bit of a right-to-left break on this one. We're watching from Golf X3's point of view right now, and you see Stewman put this out a little bit. Stewman just in his 2nd event. Did make a semifinal last year, the BMW PGA Championship semis, lost to Young 46.
Birdie for Stuman, 66 there. Golf X3, can he match it? He needs to match it, I'm going to say. Otherwise, he will go 3 down with 9 holes played, or into the 9 hole, I am going to say. Yes, of course he gets that one. So it stays as it was. 2 up for Stuman, 66. Okay, let's go on to the back 9 then. For F. Magnets and Jay Smithers. F. Magnets is 5 up. I'm going to say it again. Doesn't happen very often. F. Magnets is 5 up over the one and only Jay Smithers. Here we go. This is for a birdie then for F. Magnets here. On the 10th, this is a par 4. Looks like he can do this, but it is rolling away a little bit here, Jeff.
Now, this is a difficult putt, and you see where Jay Smithers is. He's going to have an easier putt. The way that F. Magnets is playing, this should be no problem, 7 feet. And we also saw, when we saw the highlights of F. Magnets' play earlier today, he had very similar putts at Chambers Bay that he was able to make.
Gonna just kind of curve it slightly, hasn't it? It'll look like it'll probably curve around slightly uphill into the hole. No problems there. He's been practicing clearly. He's been doing what Jay Smithers said, putting a bit more work in and working hard. Obviously is getting the results on the E-Tour. So this is Jay Smithers to keep the score as it is. 5 down. Hate to say that, but I'm sure that won't be a... Whoa! It was a problem. It was a big problem.
Jay Smithers can't believe it. This is where he's been slightly off all day and just gave that too much pace. This thing
it was just too fast, wasn't it? That was it.
It was
skimp. But even if he'd gone slightly slower, was the line correct? Was he going in?
I think if he hit that just a touch, a touch softer, or if he just put it right at the hole with that same speed, he'd be fine. But that's where you're just you have to fine-tune things, and if you're just slightly off, a player like F. Magnets, although he's had so much trouble with Jay Smithers in the past, it's different right now. F. Magnets is just playing outstanding today.
I think this possibly could be the biggest scoreline we've ever seen. 6 up.
Biggest shock, earliest semifinal to add maybe everything that you can put, and it's just the last thing that you expected with Jay Smithers, who is undefeated so far this season.
Wow.
We talked about the mystery Swedish mental coach that F. Magnets
found
has.
him?
Well, I didn't find him. But one thing that F. Magnets says is one of the things that they were working on was thinking about not necessarily practicing better, but envisioning shots better. I think F. Magnets had thought I need to put in all of this practice, be so meticulous with things, and maybe it's more about just the envisioning the shots and playing to your strength. That's what the mental coach told him, and it has been outstanding watching F. Magnets play today.
Yeah, that's what all the greatest athletes do, of course. They kind of focus and visualize themselves winning, and then when it comes to actually being in that moment, they feel like they've been there before, so can just practice what they've been practicing in their head or put that into action, and then makes it a little bit easier. But this is Jay Smithers now trying to master a comeback. Can he?
He didn't seem to like it, and yet that seems like it's under the hole a bit. The green starts to move away from the pin there, and that ball might continue on rolling. This is going to be a problem of all sorts for Jay Smithers. The length, the break of this putt, that's not an easy putt coming back for the two-time champ this year. By the way, Rachel, just the money that these players are playing for today in U.S. dollars, I didn't make that decision, someone else did. The winner today will receive $5,000, the runner-up $2,000, third and fourth place $1,000, and fifth to eighth place they'll get $250.
Yep, so locked up for stakes, not only pride, but prize money as well. F. Magnets, again, a really tricky putt to make here. It's really coming kind of off of the right-hand side, rolling down that hill. So got to really think about how he approaches this shot, but again, moving that kind of flag stick out to the right to try and get that curve on it, try and get that break right. If anything to go by how he's been playing so far, he will do so. Whoa, just misses that one. That was close. That was a hard shot, though, I'm going to say, to make.
Difficult putt. We'll give F. Magnets a break on that one. He's played so well. Also, some of you wondering, the full prize pool of the E-Tour season is $100,000. That includes $30,000 to our champion at the end of the season.
Let's just see if Jay Smithers can make his putt then. On this very sloping greens here at Chambers Bay. But we hear Jay Smithers likes it here, but not today, possibly. It's not quite his day on Chambers Bay at the moment. Excellent stroke, though. That looks like it will just skim the edge once more. What are we seeing here?
We're just seeing a player who doesn't have his best stuff today. I'm not writing off Jay Smithers for the season because he's been so outstanding and he's dominated other courses. I think more traditional American golf courses is where his strength lies, even though he told me this morning that he thought links courses played to his strength. But F. Magnets has just been incredible around the greens, even missing that putt there. He's just been a machine today. He's been Jay Smithersing the course.
There we go. The hole was halved then for those guys. So 6 up for F. Magnets. We're going to go to the other semi-final then. 1 up now. So that lead has been halved. It was 2 up earlier. Stuman 66. 1 up on the 10th here. Golf X3 has clawed a point back. Can he make it all squared and get things back on a level playing field heading into the final push here in this semi-final? This is Golf X3 now on your screen. Very small little putt here. He'll be pretty gutted that didn't go in earlier.
Yeah, Golf X3 must have been really close to eagle as we're picking up this short birdie try. He's picked up 1 hole back on Stuman since we last saw them. St. Andrews doesn't play with big breaks. That was why Stuman, even though his putt was further away, he didn't have a big break to deal with. So, you know, that's where Stuman has that 1 hole advantage, right? You just have to keep putting the ball on the greens at St. Andrews. And when I say on the greens, on the same tier. That's the important part. Keep it on the same tier as the hole, and you probably won't have a lot of break to deal with.
No, there we go. So Golf X3 teeing off at the moment on this 11th par 3, 180 yards to the pin. Bit of a headwind there. Slight elevation uphill to get to that green. Takes a power bar all the way to the end. Can he get a heartbeat? No. Yes, he does. Yes. Rachel needs her glasses today. She couldn't quite see that one. It's pretty bright in here. I'm going to go with that. Let's see where that ends up. Okay. A little bit further than maybe he had liked, but looks a bit more of a flat green there.
That general area is where you'd like to be. That's a bit uphill and doesn't look like it has a lot to break there. So you're right. Of course, you always want it closer, but Golf X3 is going to be feeling pretty good about where that is. And now this is an important shot for Stuman because all of this control you've had this match, you can lose it all and bring this match back to all square if you don't hit a good tee shot here on 11.
Not quite the heartbeat moment for Stuman 66. Doesn't mean he'll be too far away though. See how far away he is. A little bit further than Golf X3 there. Is it going to roll back slightly? No, it actually stays on the green. That's going to be a trickier putt there. Nearly a 19-foot putt. Slightly downhill as well. So we have to think about this one. This is where Golf X3 could take it back to all squared. I think this is very possible here, Jeff.
Yeah, this would be a pretty incredible putt if Stuman could make it. It doesn't have a ton of break, but that 8.6 inches downhill is nasty. And you could see he might take, we're watching this from Stuman 66's view. We might see him turn to the other side and try to, because there's a fast break right there off the bat.
We said it was hard. Didn't quite get that one, which means Golf X3 has a chance now, doesn't he, to take it back to a level playing field. A much easier putt than under 10 feet. It's pretty flat as well from where he is standing at the moment. Has to really concentrate on this one.
Yeah, like that last putt from Stuman, more of the break is right at the beginning of the putt than the end.
Ooh, yes.
Yeah.
Okay. No emotion from Golpex3 there.
He made us hold our breath a bit.
Okay, well, let's go over to the other game because things are hotting up there. Jay Smithers, he's just won a hole down to 5. Finally, okay. Is it a little bit too late that we're on the 13th now? That is F Magnets with the first shot then on the 13th. Nicely on the fairway, as we'd expect here at Chambers Bay, because these fairways are massive.
It might never be too late for Jay Smithers because he's that good. The problem is he has to beat F Magnets in so many of these holes. Still, there's still 6 holes to play and 5 up. That means Jay Smithers has to win 5 of these last 6 holes. That means he needs F Magnets to make mistakes. He could play the best WGT he's ever played. He could birdie every hole, but you're also relying on F Magnets to not birdie, you know, to only birdie one of the holes in that stretch, and I don't think that's going to happen.
That's a really tough ask when you kind of break it down like that. Excellent stroke from F Magnets when he's playing this kind of e-golf. He's pretty unstoppable. Is that going all the way? I was going to say no, but very close. Beautifully done. Setting it up really nicely for that putt there. Can Jay Smithers respond at this stage?
You could see he took that as close as he could to the bunker. Jay Smithers maybe starting to take some, you know, chances that he wouldn't have taken earlier on, trying to set him up as best as possible. But even when F Magnets is further back, hitting shots like that last one, how do you respond?
With a heartbeat.
Like this.
With a
That's
heartbeat.
exactly right.
That's exactly what he needs to do. Yeah, nice. Close. Close enough for a really easy putt in there. But it's not probably going to be enough for him to win the hole. Probably just keep it as it is. The hole will be halved and then we'll move on to the 14th.
See, no elevation change in this putt. Pretty simple putt from F Magnets. This is all about nerves at this point. I can tell you that F Magnets is not relaxing right now. He will not relax until that final putt drops here with Jay Smithers.
He doesn't exactly look under pressure either. This should be... Ooh. What was that?
That was a virtual practice
That was a
swing.
virtual practice win. Fine. I was like, did you just miss-hit that completely? No. Of course you didn't. In for the birdie. And as long as Jay Smithers does the same, we're moving on, as it is, to hole 13. Just needs a little tap in there, and he does it correctly. Okay, hole was halved. So now we're down to only 5 holes remaining. This is where it gets a little bit tighter, Jeff.
In traditional golf wording, this match is now dormy, that Jay Smithers has to win every hole out to finish with these last 18 to continue the match. And he played a perfect hole on that last hole, Rachel. That's the thing. At this point in the match, even if you play perfect holes, there just might not be enough time to beat F Magnets.
And that's possibly what we're going to see now with F Magnets on the tee box now. So we've got a pretty massive fairway again, over 500 yards, and it's going downhill as well. The elevation is slightly downhill, 90 feet, I believe that said there. F Magnets just waiting to see where this one ends up. A long way out it's going to be still because it's such a massive fairway.
That's a flex from F Magnets right there. Look at that small little area that he had to land the ball in. He is just feeling it right there. And he's taking chances and some risks as well.
But he can do that now. He has the breathing space to be able to do that.
That is WGT trash talk right there. That is saying, okay, you hit that drive, I'm going to outdo you one, even though I'm 5 up right now. And now Jay Smithers. We haven't seen Jay Smithers today hit a lot of first approach shots. Usually he's the longer player, so this is a little different right now.
The heartbeat moment from Jay Smithers. He needs as many of these as he can get. He needs to beat F Magnets. He needs to do better heartbeat moments, more heartbeat moments than F Magnets. F Magnets scratches his head there saying, well, I can probably do similar. I'll wait and see if he can do just that.
Well, remember, F Magnets will have a shorter club in his hand because he's closer. Still a fierce wind coming at him. Uh-oh. Flag stick removed. 4-iron. He's going for the hole here, Rachel. He's not playing this safe.
How close is he going to be? Oh, I love the expressions from him. Oh, kind of sits back, eyeballs pop out a little bit. Oh, I thought I'd be a bit closer than that. Which means we see F Magnets go first. I'm sure this is makeable. Looks tricky, but I'm sure anyone can do it. F Mags can.
More break than I was expecting when that ball landed. It's breaking a little hard left to right. We saw him miss a similar putt a second ago. But this is for the win right now. This is for a spot in the final.
He may let a timeout go. He's calculating.
See, to me, it would be mind games for the future if he didn't wait for a timeout right here.
He's not. He's going to go. Oh, no. Yeah, he's going to go for it. Wow. That is something else. 5 up there to make it through to the final on the 14th. I mean,
and
wow.
This is just a formality right here. Jay Smithers gets that to go. That means 5 and 4. It is F Magnets. The winner, he's going to the finals. F Magnets changed up his whole game at Chambers Bay, the place Jay Smithers was supposed to be unbeatable. He beats him in his own den.
The place nobody wanted to play Jay Smithers at was Chambers Bay. F Magnets has done it. He's sailing through to the final. Jay Smithers, how are you feeling now? Describe your emotions. It just didn't look like it was your day out there.
Hello?
Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Yeah, Jay Smithers, we're just saying, it just didn't look like it was your day out there today. You were making mistakes that we don't usually see from you. Sum up how you're feeling at this moment in time.
A little disappointed. First match, I started off slow, picked it up after a few holes, and played really well the rest of the match. And then coming into this one, I felt pretty good, but started off slow. Chris made everything. He pitched in on 1, he pitched in on 4. I couldn't make a putt to save my life. I kept hitting shots that just didn't go the way I thought they were going to go, and put myself in bad spots. And it didn't see many putts drop. Kind of got my feel there on the 12th hole, but far too late.
What do you put these mistakes down to? Do you think there was maybe more pressure on you this time out because you are the double champion?
No. I don't think it had anything to do with pressure. It was I just hit a few shots. I thought they were great when I hit them, and they ended up not being. A couple started off a little bit offline. I got unlucky on 4. I hit a great 4-iron up into a green that slopes left to right and back towards the pin, and it stuck up in the fringe. It did not go as planned. We'll put it that way.
F Magnets has been around this game for so long, but he's had so much trouble with you, with Young 46, with Golf X3. He gets past you here. How do you feel about the state of his game right now?
If he plays like he just did, he wins. He made everything. I mean, he hit a bad shot and then he would make the pitch in. He'd hit a tough shot into a tough spot, and then he'd make a big break and downhill sliding putt. I mean, he made everything. So if he does that, I don't think anybody can stop him today.
I can see that you're, obviously gutted at that result because you came here wanting to win. You said you wanted to win everything that you were going to come up against this time on the E-Tour. Just describe, your emotions at this moment in time and how you'll bounce back from this.
It was bad. That was a bad round. I played bad. So the idea is to have as few of those as possible. It was just a bad timing to have one. So I think I just do the same thing And I think if I went and played Chambers right now, I mean, I love that course. I've always loved it. So if I played it right now, I wouldn't play it that bad. That was as bad as I could have played.
You haven't felt that feeling of losing in a long time. What's that feel like right now? The first time on the E-Tour in going back to last season.
Well, Jeff, it feels like shit.
Believe that one out there, Jay Smithers. We're not allowed to use that. But no, obviously, it feels terrible. But that's kind of sometimes the fire that you need to come back next time and produce your best possible golf.
Yeah, I think next time I'll come back and I'll be a little sharper.
We know you'll come back. We know you'll come back stronger.
Yeah, I'll be back.
Thank you, mate. Commiserations. We can't wait to see how you respond from that defeat and come back even stronger and dominate in our next event. Go and spend some time with your family. See you later, mate.
All right, see you later. Bye.
See you later. Massive upset. Massive upset for the books, for the form sheet. I'm just going to rip everything up now that I had written down. But we're not going to rest on that because we're going to go to this semi-final. Golf X3. Okay, look at that. He is bouncing back. Maybe he's seen what happened to Jay Smithers there and said, I can't also go out at this stage of the competition. I need to come back stronger for my mate there.
Well, I'm thinking about all the Ted Lasso fans out there right now. And if you've seen this week's episode, Jay Smithers looking like Roy Kent right now on air. Incredible emotion, raw emotion from Jay Smithers. And you're right, Golf 3X has really stormed back here. I was worried about Stewman, the way that he was adjusting his game and maybe taking some chances, that he should have stuck to that game plan that he had for those first few holes.
I can't even begin to imagine what Stewman 66 is feeling right now. Having that lead for such a long time in this semi-final and losing it now on the 14th, or before the 14th, I'm going to say, and having really to think about what he's doing now and try and get himself back into this one, because this is where we know Golf X3 can run away with the game. He's now completely focused on what he's got to do and knows possibly who he's got in the final.
That's right. I don't know if Golf X3 is listening to us, following the chat, everything like that, but he may all of a sudden see the door open for him to get back in the winner's circle. Stewman, I've talked about it. When you watch these matches, when you watch match play and you watch every hole and you watch every shot, players go on streaks. You know, we saw it from F Magnets at the start of that match against Jay Smithers, and we're seeing it from Golf X3 right now. Stewman has to stop that bleeding and go back to the basics that he had early on in this match.
Yeah, back to basics. This is Golf X3, though, putting a little bit of spin on his ball for this one. He's 53 yards from that pin. A strong headwind, actually, to figure out.
And taking all the time here. Golf X3 has been able to spin the ball back better than any other player so far today, but there it hurts him.
It does hurt him indeed. He's got a long putt to make now, 17 foot. Not the easiest. Pretty flat, but definitely not going to be one that has to just tap in, has to think about where he's positioning himself now on this green if he's to stay in control on this 14th.
Oh, and we're back and forth a little bit right now.
I like that one. That opens the window up for Stewman once again, 66. This is a much easier putt to make here. For the birdie. Okay. We're going to see this one again.
Just want to see it through.
Just want to see what happens there. Ooh.
That did not move.
I thought that was going to go a bit further. Stewman won the hole. All squared. Wow. This is the closest semi-final we probably had. We just said the other one was probably the most open semi-final we had. This is the complete opposite here. This is going back and forth, like you just said. I have no idea where this is going to go.
Well, we saw Young 46 and F Magnets, their semifinal in the last event. You weren't here, Rachel. It went to, I believe, 24, maybe 25 holes. So we've seen playoff holes being played before. But Stewman, that's a big win on hole 14. And now we get to see some of these signature holes down the stretch at St. Andrews. Golf X3 needing to respond. The point system that you're looking at right here, 5,000 points to the winner, 3,000 to the runner-up. Third and fourth place will get 2,000 points. Fifth through eighth get 1,000. So Stewman, I had highlighted this at the beginning because of that opening matchup with LeHue. Stewman already jumps into the top 8 in the race to the grand finals. And he can jump, even though he wasn't even in the first 2 events, if he can win here and get to that final, he's going to put himself in an incredible situation to make it to that 6th and final event.
Absolutely. And F Magnets, who's already into the grand final, has already guaranteed himself 3,000 points, which, when it comes down to it at the end of the season, will be massive in trying to make it to be the top 8 to go to Dubai for the global finals at the shot of being crowned our E-Tour champion for the 2nd season. Golf X3, though, he's the man at the moment who's on your screen. He missed last event, so didn't get a single point there. So he really will be looking to get a minimum of 3,000 points if he makes it further than the semi-finals here today. Otherwise, he'll go home with 2,000.
He didn't look like he liked that shot, leaving that a bit on the right side. And if he doesn't make the final here, Golf X3 still with 2 semifinals under his belt, he'd be in great position to make the grand finals. But you start to think about seeding, and you start to think about how, early on today, Dean Barr qualified for this event as the 3 seed and had to play against Golf X3, who qualified as the 6 seed. So all of a sudden, one of those big players, Young 46, Jay Smithers, F Magnets, they could end up playing Golf X3 in the first round of the grand finals later this year.
Yeah, and that is not what anyone
You don't
would
want to work
be
that
doing.
hard
You
to
don't
lose
want to
that
work that
first
hard.
round match.
No, so Jay Smithers, he actually exits this competition then with 12,000 points, which again, we'll still see him sitting nice and pretty at the top of the table. But this is a heartbeat moment from Stewman 66. He likes that. Look how close that was.
Lighting our hearts on fire with that one. Incredible stuff by Stewman, who looked down and out as Golf X3 stormed back to take the lead. But now it's Stewman, if Golf X3 can miss this, who will have the door open.
He's got to make this.
This doesn't have a ton of break. It's another example of St. Andrews. More break the further you get away from the hole. So you see that hard break right at the start of this putt from Golf X3, but not a whole lot going on. Uphill. He's a world-class putter. And just kept that too far out. Just didn't have as much break.
I thought that looked absolutely makeable. That shouldn't have been a problem.
It just didn't move, and with the pace that he put it at, it just didn't work out. And now, how about Stewman? Give yourself a 1-up lead through 15.
Look at that smile. It's not massive, but you can see he's like, okay, I'm going to pat myself on the back for that one. Okay.
Well, you always wonder, is he looking at someone else in the room, or was that at the wall?
Maybe himself on the camera. Maybe he's looking at himself.
I see he's got a bike in the back. I'd love to see what's in this office or basement of his.
3 holes left to play. Stewman 66 is 1 up over Golf X3. Wow. These holes get a little bit trickier though, don't they now? At this stage of the course. And if we go to the 18th, I don't like the 18th. The 18th here is hard.
2 signature holes at St. Andrews, 17 and 18 coming up. We'll at least get to 17. We're talking about some of the most recognizable holes in golf. The road hole is up next. You see those bunkers, 112 bunkers, by the way, at St. Andrews. None on holes number 1 and 18.
No, but there's that little river, isn't there, on
There
Hammerhorn,
is.
which I always find myself in, actually, when I'm playing this course. Of course I do, because I'm terrible at it, even though I do try, guys. You can find me on WGT if you want to win over me, because that's probably what will happen.
But your dad, you were telling me, is dominant.
My dad's good. My dad's good. He plays all the time. There we go. Righty.
Got to get him in an event out here.
He can't qualify. He's not that good.
Stuman gets to go first here. He's further out, but perhaps a prime opportunity to keep putting his pedal to the metal. This is a strong wind coming to the left from the left, and you see that ridge there. Stuman's going to try to just land this over on the second tier, but it's going to be very difficult with that wind going left to right.
Power bar is going all the way there. Excellent heartbeat. Love it. How close is he going to be? Yeah, it's a lovely shot. Really lovely shot. He tilts his head to the side. He knows Golf X3 has to match this one. With only 3 left to play, this is going down to the wire.
Golf X3 on the right side of the fairway doesn't have to deal with the ridge as much. Still, the wind is a problem, but where he's coming from, he should be all right to avoid that false front. Not a lot of spin. We've seen that from a lot of players when they're down late, trying to perhaps roll an eagle in.
That's pretty close in terms of where they find themselves for this putt right now. Okay, so up first is Stuman, 66, a 6-foot putt, slightly downhill, makeable.
It's makeable, and we saw it from the last putt from Golf X3. St. Andrews, the brakes don't move as much. So you've got to be careful. I don't know. Stuman's putting this, if this is where he's going to putt this is out maybe a little bit further than I'd be comfortable downhill, because you're just not going to get as much brake downhill.
You can see that those little balls there are not really moving, or moving very slowly, I'm going to say. So like you said, not much brake at all. Oh, he's moving it further out.
Listen, he's the pro. We're not. But you're going to see him, the way that he's doing this, he's really going to have to keep this speed slow.
Oh. Oh! Wow!
And he kept it too slow.
Oh my days, what is that about? I did not, that was going in. That was, oh, okay.
We were so worried that he put it out too far, but he actually hit it so soft that it broke too much. And if Stuman loses this match, that's the putt he's going to go back and look at and think, I just overthought it. Golf X3 not giving it as much brake and giving it more pace. That's the way that you have to make those putts down the stretch. You can't get cute with it. You have to just play it firm. And now this is what I talked about. This is the road hole at St. Andrews, the blind tee shot, the bunker around the green. What an incredible finish we're about to have in this semifinal.
All squared. 2 holes to go. This is like a final, isn't it? This literally is like a final.
It feels like a final. You almost forget that F. Magnets is waiting on the other side. He's won twice today, 5 up. He's won 5 up twice, so this might be for the right to lose 5 down to F. Magnets, but that's a great tee shot from Golf X3, one of the hardest approach shots in golf coming up.
I mean, this is pretty tough though, isn't it? You cannot see where you're hitting it here. You have to just have practiced this many times before, so you know the angles to get and know how hard you need to hit each shot, because it's, again, pretty long fairway, 515 yards to the pin here. Over that clubhouse there, over that little...
It's actually a hotel.
Yeah, I was going to say, is that the restaurant in the conservatory there?
I believe so. So I looked at the layout of this hole as I was prepping, and I was thinking to myself, you can't really play this hole until you're maybe 12 years old. If you're a normal, because you would just hit balls into the hotel. You wouldn't even reach the fairway the way this hole is constructed.
Breaking glass.
This is a very, very difficult approach shot. That bunker there is known as the road hole bunker on 17, one of the hardest bunkers to get out of in golf.
Stuman is coming unstuck now.
As this ball looks to be rolling down, I think he fast-forwarded. That might have rolled all the way down. Golf X3 now, you can play this shot conservatively if you're him. I don't know if he will, because he thinks and perhaps is the best or one of the 2 or 3 best in the world. but now you just need to put it on the top of that green and you're probably all right.
Yeah, he's just watched what happened to Stuman 66 there. It rolled down the hill. He rolled his chair back in his office there saying, I can't believe what I've just done when I had the lead. He's now watching with bated breath to see if Golf X3 makes the same mistake. I'm sure he won't. It's an excellent stroke there. Not a heartbeat, but it's surely going to stay up there on the top set. He went longer, as you'd expect. Nicely played. A little bit too far out, but that's a much easier second shot for him. Third shot for him.
In real life, I'd say he's great. If this is match play, he'll at least par. Such a difficult pitch that we're about to see from Stuman. But these guys are so good, and I'm interested to see. It looks like Stuman has pitch here. I would consider a flop shot. You're seeing that Stuman is putting as much loft and spin as he can on this ball. He wants to pitch it in, Rachel.
And it's looking like, far too long. What did he do wrong there?
Like I said, I think you have to play a flop shot there in my mind, because a pitch up that hill to the second tier, it's so much more difficult to control. A flop shot, you get more loft on, which means your ball won't roll out the same way that it did there. So you can change your shots. You can't see it right now, Golf X3 is putting, but you can change your type of shots in the game to have different sorts of flight.
Yeah. Well, this is very much a putt from Golf X3. For the birdie. It's a pretty long putt, but he's on with the pressure off at the moment. Yeah. See how wide out he's aiming for there.
Really putting it out there. He likes using the putters that go farther distance and just hitting them soft with a little more power. Again, controls the speed.
But definitely didn't quite get that angle right.
He played it conservatively, like I mentioned he probably should, because now he forces Stuman to have to make this putt. And Stuman, make up for that missed putt on the last hole and bury this more difficult one. Doesn't feel like there's a lot of break. That speed is very difficult. 3.4 inches downhill, but don't worry about missing it, because it's match play. This isn't stroke play. You have to go for it. Oh, Stuman, no, just in millimeters, inches.
He can't quite believe that, can he? Two big mistakes then on the 17th.
Massive mistakes there. Stuman, it just feels like it unraveled a bit. He was one up. He was one up through 15, Golf X3 with two big wins on the 16th and 17th hole. We're heading to 18. Golf X3 now has this one-up advantage, Rachel. I don't feel like he's had his best stuff. He hasn't had his best stuff today. Stuman had his best stuff earlier on, but now he has to get a victory on this 18th hole at St. Andrews.
But when you're at Golf X3, you don't have to always have your best stuff. You just have to play to get through, and that's what he's doing right now. He's playing the right golf at the right time in this competition, in this semi-final, and he will now do enough. As long as he doesn't make any silly mistakes. I don't think he will at this stage. He's now got it in the bag, as I'm going to say. Stuman is the one under all the pressure, under immense pressure now. He needs to have a word with F. Magnets and see what his psychologist would say at this moment in time.
Well, I think you're right, and that brings up a good point. Golf X3 can get away with things against Stuman and perhaps 99% of WGT players, but I don't think he can get away with the way he played against F. Magnets in the next round.
No, F. Magnets is in a league of his own at the moment. Golf X3 needs to really up his game. I don't know how you don't have a break in this, but take 5 seconds to reset, because it's going to be tough if he's to make it through. If either of these make it through, it's going to be a tough final matchup, which we want to see, of course.
F. Magnets, I'm sure you're watching, so we've told you you've been sharper than Golf X3 today, which shouldn't come as a surprise to anyone else who's watched. Golf X3 is going to go first here on 18. That's going to at least let Stewman know what he has to do on his approach shot. You were saying that you can't stand this hole, Rachel. The Valley of Sin is the depression before the 18th hole. So Golf X3, you'd expect him to try to be safe and just take this over.
We've got to. Look at that little ridge surrounding it. It just rolls back down if you're too short there. Rolling a little bit, but it's going to stay nicely close to the hole there for Golf X3.
Not a given, that putt. Still a little bit of work to do, but Golf X3 should be feeling great about where he is and really forcing Stewman to figure out exactly how to deal with this loft and deal with this spin to try to put it in the hole. And he goes to a punch shot. I was going to mention this when I was bringing up the flop shot. Punch shots, you don't see a lot of casual WGT players use them, but a lot of the pros like to use the punch shot. Try to keep that flight a little bit lower and try to give yourself a chance to run this into the hole. It's more difficult, but you maybe have a better chance of actually making it. And at this point, Stewman thinks that's what he has to do to keep pace in this match.
Let's see if this punch shot does the job then. Timeout. I'd say this is exactly the time when you should be using these. 2 remaining though. But that's fine, we're on the 18th, so you don't really need any more than that at this stage in the semi-final.
And now Stewman's analyzing it all again. Let's see if he goes back to that punch. He does. With a little bit of spin though into the hill.
Still pretty far away. Golf X3 is obviously closer from that angle, so we will see Stewman 66 play first.
This is essentially to stay alive right here.
Yeah.
And Stewman, you use that punch shot. You can't really tell by that camera angle, but I mean, you're basically just going straight uphill. You're basically punching that shot into a mound. So that's why he just didn't get quite the roll. Didn't roll all the way back. But now uphill to at least.
Oh, no, that is not what we wanted. You just said it. He needed that to stay alive. He didn't. He didn't get it. So, Golf X3.
Golf X3, same way that he kind of ended his last match. He just needs a 2-putt here. I wouldn't expect him to take too much time here and just finish off this match. It has been a roller coaster for him. But he will be going to the finals, Rachel.
Golf X3 nicely does it. Joining F Magnets in that final. Stewman 66. What a tournament he had. He pushed a 5-time champion in the form of Golf X3 all the way to the 18th there at St Andrews. Stewman 66. I want to know exactly how you're feeling right now, my man, because that was another level of golf you were playing there. You pushed Golf X3 all the way. It wasn't to be in the end. I can't even begin to know how you are feeling right now.
Well, it feels good that I pushed him, made him sweat a little bit, and you know, I wish I could have kept it going. I kind of lost it a bit at the end there. Hit a weak putt, and I wish I would have hit that firmer and kept it going. But you know, I'm pretty proud of making it this far.
Yeah, and I guess how much does that kind of push you on to try and come back and qualify for your 3rd E-Tour event and go all the way to the final, knowing that you can push someone like Golf X3 that close to the wire?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it's going to motivate me to keep on practicing with these clubs. So maybe I can turn some more heads.
Stewman, you had an eagle earlier in the day when it looked like you had this thing going on number 6. What happened with that shot? Out of the rough.
Yes. Yeah, it was a perfect number. I added a couple % for the rough and spun off the hill, kept rolling in. Yeah, I had 2 earlier in my first match also. So the wedges were working today. That's positive.
Stephen, what do you do now then? Do you go home and practice even more, or do you give yourself a little bit of time off to just reset, regroup, and think about exactly how you performed today?
Well, yeah, I'm going to take a little break from the E-Tour stuff and get back with my regular clubs. We have the World Cup going on right now with my club, and but a couple weeks and I'll be back on there. And I know we have the Chambers Bay qualifying going on right now, so that's not my favorite course. So I got to work on that.
Stewman, you've had the opportunity to be out there playing against a 5-time champion and dealing with the emotions, the highs and lows, having the lead, fighting back from behind. What do the average players not know about what it's like in the thick of the moment like that?
I don't know. I wish I had an easy answer for you. I was pretty nervous the whole time. Yeah, I guess. But maybe I made that help me focus, and was trying to hit more dings, if that's possible on the PC. I don't know, but yeah, you only have 45 seconds, but you also have to take your time. Sort of, it's hard to do.
Well, Stephen, thank you so much.
Start rushing.
Don't rush.
Okay,
Don't rush. Thank you for being such a great competitor today. We can't wait to see you qualify for another tournament. We'd love to see you back here and pushing the competitors even further next time and making it through to that final.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here. Thanks for having him. Oh, thank you for being here and being so great. Well, let's have a look at the bracket then, because we now have our 2 finalists, F Magnets and Golf X3. That looks so amazing, doesn't it, Jeff?
We've seen so many different things. What was going to happen? This is probably the second final that we would have, expected after Jay Smithers being in the final. Golf X3 against F Magnets. We're going to get a first-time champion this year, this season. It's not going to be Jay Smithers this time around.
No, we had 2 awesome semi-finals there. If there's anything to go by, this final is going to be red hot indeed. I love how they were so different as well. F Magnets absolutely running away with it. Golf X3 being pushed all the way to the wire. But right now, let's have a little bit of a look at the Tournament Explainer and see just how difficult it is to be in one of these competitions.
The European E-Tour features 6 esports events consisting of 5 regular tournaments throughout the season and then concluding in the ultimate showdown, the Global Finals. The players must be at the top of their game for the entire season if they want to have a share of the $100,000 prize pool. Hundreds of thousands of players will try to qualify for the 5 E-Tour events, but there are only 8 spots available at each tournament. At each event, players have the chance to earn points for the race to the Global Finals ranking. By the end of the season, the 8 players with the most points on the race to the Global Finals ranking will qualify for the Global Finals. At the season finale, we will find the European E-Tour champion and the winner of the lion's share of the $100,000. May the best e-golfer win.
Oh, we have our finalists, and Golf X3, he's won this event 5 times before. F Magnets still to get his hands on a trophy, but none of them have done it this year. Peyton here, 22 years of age, 5 tournament victories, like I just said. Been playing since 2016, didn't make it last time out. That could be...
It's been an eternity, it feels like, since Golf 3X has been in a final. Rachel, it's been so long,
so
as in a few months.
Carry on.
She was thinking, Rachel, we're gonna think about this. We've been having some Danish chocolates in the studio here at the European Tour, at the European E-Tour. F Magnets, he has been incredible today. 2 victories, 5 up in each of those victories today. But unlike Golf X3, he has never won an E-Tour title. That might change today. I think it will, Rachel.
Well, he has been the man in form, but let's have a look at their current head-to-head at the moment then, because that's a little bit different, of course. Look at the one rate there. Golf X3, 28 wins to his name, compared to half that of F Magnets, only 14 so far. 1 draw for Golf X3, 9 losses, though, for F. Magnets. Let's hope he doesn't add to that today and really adds to his win. F. Magnets, though, we're going to get a word from you first. I've stopped coughing now. I can't get my words out still, but I am back in the game. Let's have a quick word with you and talk about your dominance. F. Magnets, your victory over Jay Smithers was incredible. Has that really made you full of confidence now heading into this final?
I was full of confidence anyway, but just sorry to spoil the fun for you. I know you were talking up a Josh versus Peyton final, so I suppose we'll spoil your party.
F. Magnets, you have been dominant today. You've won both your matches 5-up. Does this have something to do with this mystery Swedish mental coach guru that you've been seeing in the WGT world?
It does. It's absolutely vital. This whole mind game, mental thing, mysticism, it's a very important part of the game. Shouldn't be underrated by anybody.
What exactly has he been doing to help you with that side of things, F. Mags?
I'm not going to tell you that. This
Come
is a
on.
trade secret, and it's between me and him.
One little insight, no? He's not giving us anything.
Play better.
See, I said, you're not giving us anything. Well, F. Magnus, we wish you the best of luck in this final.
That must have been what the guru told him.
Play better.
Don't tell the announcers
Play better.
what's going on.
I mean, everyone's going to play better. Up their games now. It's a final, of course. Golf X3 is the man who knows how to play better in a final because he's done it 5 times. He hasn't done it this year. He'll be ready and raring to go to get his first victory of 2021. Golf X3, how are you feeling heading into this one? Are you feeling pumped?
I'm feeling very unprepared. I've kind of played like a potato the last 2 matches, so that's usually how it goes, though. Whenever I make it to the finals, my group play is always kind of potato, and then I come to the finals and usually play well. So, fingers crossed, and hopefully the same thing happens here.
Where is your Tiger Woods red shirt for final day?
I had to change it up. New season.
Golf X3, I believe that you
lost its magic as well.
All right, so we're gonna see it. We're gonna see a different outfit. We've seen different mental changes from F. Magnets. Golf X3, you've played F. Magnets a lot on the E-Tour. I believe you have 3 semifinal victories against him and 1 final victory. You beat him all 4 times. You guys, you knocked him out 4 times last year. What do you expect about him this time around?
Well, it's how it sounds so far. He's been playing pretty good the whole tournament. Hopefully I can turn it back around and hopefully match his playing ability right now.
Well, we hope you can as well. We would love to see a very close contest here in the Hero Open 2021 final because it is time to see who is going to go home with 5,000 points, $5,000 and that crown as well. Jeff, you ready?
I'm so ready. It's been awesome watching these 2 players today, and now we get to see the 2 best players today go head-to-head.
Oh, I can't wait for this one. If I'm going to go either way from what we've seen so far, F. Magnets 5-up in both of his matches he's seen. I'm not going to bet against him, but this is the final. Anything can happen. Should we get into it? Give me a prediction.
Well, I think F. Magnets. Has been the best player today. I think what we're going to see is F. Magnets' best better than Golf X3 with some holes.
Well, let's start this final at the Hero Open 2021. Here it is right now. Golf X3 taking on F. Magnets. Here we go. Who is taking the first shot? It is F. Magnets. Let's see if he can start as he has done in his last 2 matches by going quickly up over his competition.
I think it's interesting. We're seeing Royal St. George's, of course, the home of the Open this year. You could see it on the tee box as the course that we'll see for this final. And we just saw Golf X3 play on St. Andrews, and we saw F. Magnets play on Chambers Bay. F. Magnets has only played Chambers Bay today, so a little bit of a different scene that F. Magnets is going to get here playing, going back to his homeland, Rachel, of Great Britain.
Yeah, exactly. F. Magnets, of course, when I asked him the question, oh, does that give you more confidence going 5-up there over Jay Smithers? Rachel, I had confidence all along. I was like, all right, I'm sorry, F-Mags. Just asking the question. But no, obviously full of confidence there. He said it's all down to this new psychology coach he's got. And look at that heartbeat straight away on hole number 1. Beautifully done there. Really showing Golf X3 what he's made of. And Golf X3 said he's been playing like a potato. I've never heard anyone say they play golf like a potato before, because I would think potatoes are quite useless at playing golf.
I would just feel a potato, it's a heavy item. It's hard to, I can't imagine smacking around a potato like a golf ball. Just back on F. Magnets, because I think if he wins, we're going to have a much looser interview with him after this match. I think he's still in total F. Magnets mode until he finally gets that first E-Tour victory. Golf X3 coming in with this heartbeat shot. I'll hold my thought on this shot from Golf X3. That is outstanding. Hole high, he'll have a good putt. F. Magnets said that this Swedish guru we've been talking about told him if you just think better, then maybe you don't have to practice better. I know F. Magnets said that he was told to play better, but I really think it's all about thinking and that mental aspect of WGT and not getting so robotic and so calculaic, if that's a word, with everything that you're doing.
Yeah, because I think that's what we saw from Schumann 66, didn't we? He said once he made that mistake, I think it just kind of unravelled mentally. And that's where you just need to regather your thoughts and just think, oh, it doesn't matter. Don't really look at how many holes there's still left to play. Just look at it, as a game in itself and just kind of try and get back gradually. But obviously there wasn't much time when he made that mistake with like 3 holes to go. But right, we're in very much anyone's game with this one, and F. Magnets taking the first blood here with a birdie to open up proceedings. Golf X3 should easily join him in this one.
We have not seen F. Magnets make a legitimate mistake today. So to beat him, Golf X3, who we know, I'm not saying Golf X3 has to be perfect because this is a 5-time champion, but he has to limit those mistakes because F. Mags is not going to make them.
No, he's not going to make them, is he? He hasn't made them so far. I don't think he intends to do it now.
Oh no, Golf X3 gave that too much gas. It lips out the side. We said you have to limit those mistakes. Missing putts like that, you hate to see it, but very similar to some of the downhill putts that we saw Jay Smithers miss as well against F. Mags.
Well, that's a very silly mistake to make on hole number 1. And if that is anything to go by, we are going to see F. Magnets sail through this final. He's won his previous 2 matches in this Hero Open 5 up. I would hate to see him go any more than that just because it's a final, and I don't want to, for anyone to have a complete runaway victory, especially over Golf X3, who's such a great competitor person on the E-Tour.
So now F. Magnets, very similar position that he started at with Jay Smithers. And you heard Jay Smithers, when we interviewed him, talk about he made some mistakes off the bat, and just playing behind against F. Magnets is going to be so hard. That's a bomb from Golf X3. F. Magnets will adjust as the game goes along. When he sees that he's got a lead, he's 1 up. If he goes 2 up after these first few holes, you'll see him play a little bit more defensive, but he's so good that just makes you feel like you almost have a brick wall ahead of you if you're the opposition.
Yeah, absolutely. So F. Mags now.
Let me tell you too, Rachel, if Golf X3 loses this final, that red shirt is coming back next final.
He said he was unlucky, didn't he? He said it's a new season, he wanted a new look. It's testing my knowledge now to remember if he was wearing it at the first event of the year. To go back in the archives.
I'm pretty sure he was.
I think he was.
I'm pretty sure he was. That's a great shot from F. Magnets with a heartbeat just short, but that'll leave an uphill putt. This can get really interesting and exciting if Golf X3, because he's so good, he uses backspin so well, if he just starts pin seeking here. And he put the flag pin back in, it looks like here, so maybe not going for it. But this hole, you don't want to come up, spin it back too short, or you'll spin it off. He takes the flag out again right before this shot.
It's almost a repeat of Golf X3 of what we saw with F Magnets, making mistakes. He wasn't obviously at his best last time out because he said he had a little bit of an illness and was making silly mistakes. Golf X3 making silly mistakes this time. He didn't say if he had an illness, but calling himself a potato possibly means he feels flat, under the weather, potentially. I'm going to look into that a bit further.
Starchy.
A bit less starchy, a bit later on. Of course, well, he didn't say what kind of potato.
That's true.
Sweet potato?
I'm just imagining a baked
Jacket
potato.
potato?
Is just what I'm imagining. Your old, full together potato.
Potato or potato? No, I'm joking.
No, but it's a valid point in our.
I love as well. What's your chance of winning? This is F Magnets when asked by our production team.
He said less than 10%. Maybe that is even too optimistic.
And he just said that in full of confidence. He always contradicts himself, does this guy? Very British. He loves to dumb down his chances.
It is heavy reverse psychology from F Magnets. And now Golf X3 trying to keep up with a birdie. That's a great putt. After Golf X3 missed the downhill breaker on the last one, he gets this one to go. So at least clawing back a bit.
Okay, so on the third now, it stays as it did after hole number 1. F Magnets with the advantage at the moment. Par 3, under 250 yards on this one. A strong tailwind though there, 17 to 19 miles per hour. Not much in terms of elevation, though. It's a pretty flat drive there for F Mags. 3 iron, though. Here we go. How can he make this look? No heartbeat, but it will probably be a pretty easy shot for him to open up proceedings on the third.
He's going to be okay with that. This par 3, you really want to get it on that back tier, and so he'll be okay with that. A very tough hole to birdie. I brought up earlier today what I'll call the Young 46 scale. This is what he told me. He said add 6 yards for every 10 miles per hour of headwind, take away 4 to 5 yards for every 10 miles per hour of tailwind. So that's what these guys are dealing with, 17 to 19 miles per hour downhill. They're also factoring in the elevation a bit.
And that's a great response then from Golf X3. Will he follow suit with what F Magnets does and go a little bit further behind? Yes, a little bit too far, Jeff. They're rolling a little bit too much, possibly for his liking.
When you're at this stage of WGT and these guys, if we were doing stroke play, you would see guys shooting 58, 59, everything. That slight miss on any hole can be so big, and just that being maybe 5 to 7 feet further right now, that could be the difference on this hole. And that's the difference, I think, the margin of difference between how the status of F Magnets' play today and Golf X3.
Yeah, well, Golf X3 at the moment is taking this very long putt, slightly downhill because they both put it behind the pin, as Jeff was just saying there, but a close to 30-foot shot there. It's going a bit too wide. It's not going to go in. It's going to go close, but not quite close enough. 28 feet was the shot distance in the end. F Magnets, so pretty much half that distance for his first attempt at this hole. Slightly easier.
And that's what I'm saying. That's the difference right there. Just the tee shots looked similar, but just those extra few feet, and it was even more. I think it was 12-foot difference. The putts. These are the opportunities that F Magnets has been taking advantage of against everyone today. This is the reason that he's won 5 up twice today.
Today. Oh! Oh, it's so close.
What a confident stroke, even though it didn't go in from F Magnets. Didn't leave a lot of break on that one. Probably needed just a bit more. Golf X3 dodges a bullet.
He does indeed there. That was so close. He's holding his breath as F Magnets on that one, saying, could have given myself a double the advantage. The hole was halved, so it stays 1 up for F Magnets on the 4th now. Okay, this is a pretty long fairway on the 4th, par 4. Slight tailwind as well, coming in slightly from the left this time, so I'll have to factor this one in.
And you see that stat that F Magnets wants to change on your screen. They went up against each other, F Magnets and Golf X3, 4 times last year. Golf X3 knocked F Magnets out all 4 times in 3 semifinals and 1 final. This is their first meeting on the E-Tour this season.
Golf X3 going second at the moment again to F Magnets, which I always think is possibly a little bit easier because you can watch what your opponent's doing and try and match his shots, because you'll want to be matching F Magnet's shots at the moment because he's playing such exceptional golf. Doing his calculations now, there's F Magnets, you can see that on the screen, just typing in a few numbers, making sure he knows exactly what to do, putting a lot of spin on this ball as he approaches the flag. Oh, has he taken the flag out? No, flag is still in, is it, at the moment? Yep, still in. Close to 200 yards. 5 foot uphill. Not quite going all the way on that power bar. That was 190 with a 5-iron, it would have been.
How many times have we seen that excellent stroke from F Magnets? Even though this doesn't end up exactly where he wanted, he hit the shot that he wanted. Not something that we'd expect to say at this point in the season, but F Magnets, he's the one player in this final matchup who's actually been to a final this season. He lost that first Portugal Masters to Jay Smithers. Golf X3, this is his first final of the 2021 E-Tour season.
That won't faze him though, will it, at all? He's been a finalist and a winner many times before, but never possibly as the underdog. Always very much the person expected to win. Goes a little bit too long as well, but F Magnets, I think, is still a little bit further away, so he should be putting first. Just on the edge of that green, as you can see there. Just over 20 feet is that putt, slightly downhill. Braking again, slightly from the right, as we can see on the view at the moment. Quite fast, and it goes a bit slower, doesn't it? So it's slightly more uphill at the moment. So how will he approach this one? Because it does break at different points, doesn't it, Jeff?
Yeah, he looks like he's going to play this out right to left. I'm interested to see if he tries to see the other view. These putts on the fringe in WGT can become very tricky. I don't think it's that far into the fringe, but you have to worry a little bit about the speed coming through there.
Ooh, making mistakes now. I know that was a difficult shot, but making mistakes when it matters. He needs to really kind of compose himself and go back to whatever his psychologist has been saying to him, because this is not the F Magnets we've seen so far in the quarters and the semis.
The approach shot was just a miss, and maybe I jinxed him because I said he hasn't made any mistakes today. It was just a mistaken calculation, and when you're at this stage in the final, you cannot leave yourself a putt from the fringe, especially on a hole like this where you see how easy Golf X3 was able to just leave himself a 12-footer.
Golf X3 capitalizes on that mistake with the birdie, wins the hole. It's now all squared going into the next hole. We're on the 5th now, of course, at Royal St George's in this final, the Hero Open.
This 5th hole, such an interesting tee shot as we see. It looks like Golf X3 trying to figure out if he can actually go. He thought about going at the pin, it looks like. He thought about taking that at, as you see on the right side of your screen, the layout of the hole. He thought about trying to go for that fairway closer to the green, but now realizes he actually has to lay up at the short part of it.
Yeah, Golf X3 now going first, of course. F Magnets can sit back and possibly watch, not that he'll want to. I don't think he's ever been all squared so far in this tournament with 5 holes, well, being played now. He's always kind of gone up really early on, which we just saw, but it's gone back to level playing field now on the 5th.
And how about this? F Magnets looks like he's going to take the chance and go for that further part of the fairway. This is the decision that you're forced to make on the 5th hole at Royal St. George's. He hit everything he could on that. It's just a matter of will it get there? It gets a bounce off the ridge of that mountain. I think he's all right down there.
That was a risk which possibly paid off for him there.
You can see on the right side there, the blue is Golf X3, the red is F Magnets. F Magnets almost up on the green. Golf X3, 168 yards out. I'm not saying that's difficult for Golf X3. He can put this close. But what a drive by F Magnets.
We love to see riskier shots like that. Shows the quality which these players have. And they're just showing off sometimes when they produce shots like that. Even though it did bounce, it still kind of stayed exactly where he wanted it. But this is a heartbeat for Golf X3. Watch his ball on the side there. How close can he go?
How about in the hole? After all of that, are you kidding? Golf X3 just dunks it. He was 168 yards out. F. Mag DeChambeau is all the way up here, just 24 yards out, but he has to hold this to match Golf X3.
Wow. Golf X3 looks slightly smug on that one, as I would do if it was me. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. Right, F. Mags, can he respond now? No, it's not a heartbeat. It's not going to go in. It's not a heartbeat. Oh, it went so close.
It's not bad, but so difficult. And Golf X3 absolutely steals that hole. F Magnets did everything right, but Golf X3 goes one up.
Wow, so it shows 168 yards out for Golf X3 wasn't a problem. You said you didn't think it would be. It wasn't at all.
I was 168 yards out for me in real life. I'm thinking there's no, can I hit the green from here in real life? But Golf X3 makes the game look so small, makes those 168-yard shots look like 100-yard shots. And F Magnets has to somehow, mentally, we know he's changed his mental game, adjust to that because he did nothing wrong there. Nothing wrong.
Which shot was better, Stuman 66, which I said was shot of the day, or Golf X3 right there?
This is not to mess with what you said before, Rachel, but that was the better shot. In the final.
They were both great though, right?
They were both outstanding. Golf 3X, wow. I don't know, the F Magnets drive was pretty good too.
Yeah, but didn't go in
No,
the
it
hole,
didn't
did
go
it?
in the hole.
F Magnets now has to really dig deep and think about what he's been taught over the last couple of weeks. Really put everything that he's learned into practice now in this final at the Hero Open, because he is under, for the first time this tournament, he is one down to Golf X3, who has been nowhere, really, who had a pretty, uneasy start to his campaign, and he had to be pushed all the way by Stuman 66, who we didn't expect to do that. And now he's coming into form. He's playing himself into form, isn't he? When it really matters. He's no potato now.
That was a great shot by F Magnets. I'll say this. This will not be, if he does win, this will not be Golf X3's most impressive victory on the E-Tour, but it might be the grittiest based on what he had to deal with today and after not winning the last two events, which sounds crazy for him. He's on his longest losing streak of not winning events right now. This is all grit.
If he wins, I'd like to ask him what kind of vegetable he now is. What do you think a winning vegetable is?
That's what I'm thinking of. I'm racking my brain. Yeah, is that
it's fast? I don't know. I'll let him decide because I definitely can't.
It's a green bean. That's what it is.
Is it a bean? No. That's in. That's a green bean because it's a green on the green, goes in the hole. Oh gosh, I need to take a breather, clearly.
You take a second there, Rachel. Golf X3 is putting on a putting exhibition since that first hole. He had a bad putt on hole 1, but the last 5 holes he's been outstanding with the putter, and he's forced F Mags to dig, and now F Mags has to dig again. After that drive on the last hole, they were tied, Rachel. He must have been thinking, all right, I'm back. And now all of a sudden, he might go 2 down.
But 2 down, if you're working on your mental strength, shouldn't be a problem. That's exactly the kind of situations you are preparing yourself for. He's 2 down.
He just didn't quite get
Wow.
that one to break enough. We saw it from the back angle. And yeah, that challenge, that mental challenge you were preparing for, F Magnets, you won your first 2 matches, 5 up. Now you got to execute because you're 2 down and you got to dig.
He said, didn't he, F Magnets, he was confidence. That confidence must be wavering slightly at this point.
He also said his odds of winning were at less than 10%. So
basically, we can't believe what he says at this stage of the competition. When he wins, we'll believe what he says. But yeah, I mean, tricky one.
by the way, this classic UK outfit with the beanie.
Yeah, I love a beanie.
What is it, like 55 degrees in England today, Rachel?
I don't know what that is, but it's cold.
Oh, you're right. You know, that's.
I left today, but it was sunny. I left very early today. I don't know what degrees it was.
Well, I'm dealing with Celsius in my hotel room right now, and that's a challenge all in itself. 2 good drives there. 235 in for Golf X3. I was also being sarcastic. 55 is pretty cold.
I have no idea. Okay, so Golf X3 said he hadn't done much preparation coming into this event either. But again, he doesn't ever do that much, as we saw in his kind of statistics. Going into this event, he plays about 1 hour a day, but he said he would actually up his game, or amount of time he plays the game, heading into the competition. And he likes just to have a bit of fun. He said when he hasn't qualified for the last event, he kind of coming out here and just trying to have a bit of fun in his chances compared to F Mags. He said of winning maybe 25%. So he's backing himself slightly more.
It was Jay Smithers that was the most confident, I think, and from all the competitors and from us was all the confidence. But F Mags and Golf X3, they might not have thought they were at their best form, but here they are out here, and we're seeing that in our production. I believe that's Golf X3 saying that he would buy a car if he wins.
That's big. He's never been that bold before, saying he's going to buy something materialistic like that. Usually he's saving it all.
He's ending college soon. He's thinking about the outside world. He's thinking about what he's going to roll up in.
Oh, I love that. I wonder what kind of car he's going to buy. F Mags with the heartbeat, though. Right now on the 7th, he needs this to get himself back in this competition. How close is this going to go? It's rolling. It's still moving.
Another beautiful shot from F Magnets. He'll have that for eagle. This is Golf X3 from all the way back, and it looks like he's going to chip this. This is where, or now he's going back and forth. This is where a little game theory and a little bit of everything going on. You're just trying to make this right now, because in all likelihood, you're assuming that F Magnets is going to make that short putt for eagle.
Yeah, you've got to go for it, haven't you? Put everything on the line. Look at how far away that is, though. That is tricky.
These guys are pros.
Could you make that, though? You said you couldn't make 168. You're like, am I going to get on the green? Could you make that 51-foot putt?
Yeah.
Oh, no. Very, very wide there. So F Magnets, he makes this one very much back in the game.
That's right. You know, he can cut that deficit by 1 right here. And this is where F Magnets, the way that he's been playing today, is just going to keep himself around the hole and everything. I don't expect him to unravel at any point here. Obviously, it's a difficult opponent in Golf X3, but he's been so great with those irons. That mistake that he had on, I believe it was 4, was just uncharacteristic. That shot that he was long on.
This is 40 feet closer to the pin than we just saw from Golf X3 there. And he makes it look easy. Eagle and a heartbeat. Winning the hole, takes it down to 1 down now instead of 2. That's where I want to be. So he wasn't flustered there, was he?
He should feel good. He's played the last few holes so well. He just had to deal with that crazy eagle, and now he's got to right the ship, figure out if it wasn't for Golf X3 holing out from 168 yards, this should be a tied match.
Here we go, F Magson. He is the one on your screens at the moment, trying to capitalise on that great shot we just saw and that great hole 7 from him. Clawing back the lead that Golf X3 had early on. Golf X3, though, with an excellent stroke himself. How close can he get to the pin? 272 yards off that 457 on the screen there. So Golf X3 with 190 yards now. Pretty strong wind, though, coming in from the left. Makes things a little bit more difficult.
The angle that Golf X3 looks like, at least if you're going to deal with this wind from the fairway, at least you have some room to let the wind bring that ball back here at Royal St. George's. By the way, 15 Open Championships hosted at Royal St. George's, the most of any course in England. And a heartbeat for Golf X3, trying to respond after losing the 7th hole. Already has an eagle on the day and has himself a short birdie putt here.
Yeah, that looks like a pretty easy shot, doesn't it, there for him to make? But F. Magnus, he's still on the fairway. Going to change to a 6-iron there, putting a lot of spin on that one. I love it when they just ramp that little green dot down as far as it goes. Going all out here. Slightly down as well, 8 feet elevation down.
Dean Barr, not about that spin life. That backspin life, I should say.
Heartbeat. If you don't know what that is, by the way, we haven't actually said that. We always think people know what the heartbeat is. It's when the screen kind of flashes white. It shows it's a perfect shot. And that's what it results in.
It means it's going to be really good.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean in the same way. By the way, the two competitors that Golf X3 went up against today, Dean Barr said he was shaking the whole time. We heard Stuman say he was nervous the whole time. I mean, this is the emotion that these guys are going through. The heartbeat characterizes exactly what they're going through as Golf X3 gives that putt some pace and puts it right in the hole. And that's where I say, Rachel, don't mess around with these putts this late. Hit it firm, hit it in there. It's match play. Don't worry if it goes way past.
No, exactly. Well, this should be pretty straightforward for F. Magnus. Which will continue the score as it is.
I don't know if I love how much break he's given this. He might not be hitting it as hard as I would expect. Puts that in. 2 birdies for both the competitors in this one then on the 8th. So this is the final hole of the front 9 here at Royal St. George's. This is the 9th, 410-yard, par 4. Wind's coming from the opposite direction now. From the right, 15 to 17 miles an hour. Full power mode for F. Magnus there. Not quite perfect, not quite the heartbeat. Full power, but you see how he put full backspin on that ball too. Some of you were asking in the chat about spin. Why don't you put top spin on every drive? And the answer is because you lose control. What F. Magnus is able to do by putting backspin on his driver, he's hitting a higher ball flight that's not going to move as much. He can control exactly where it lands. He knows that's probably where the ball is going to end up. And we'll see where Golf X3, who adds some more distance where his shot goes. There are bunkers that F. Magnus was trying to avoid. Golf X3 doesn't quite reach them.
No, you can see those are the 2 in front of them there. Both avoided those pretty easily. Obviously much closer now to that pin for F. Magnus. Again, not as much spin, but again, putting a bit more spin on this. Taking his time on this one. Where is he aiming for then? Slightly to the right of the pin, it looks like there, Jeff?
Slightly to the right, 15 to 17 mile per hour winds whipping to the left in Sandwich today. And he's also going to try to use that ridge there. So just so smart the way that these players play it, because you see, if that was a little bit more right, that's rolling off to the side there.
And I'm sure, Jeff, people at home will be watching and going, I'm quite good at WGT.
That's right.
How can I get involved? Well, the answer is on your screen right now, actually. If you just follow us on all of our social channels, that's eTour. We kind of put a lot of updates on how to qualify. And if you want to go and follow us or go and check out WGT.com as well, it'll have all the information on how to qualify for the next couple of events. There's still 2 more on the calendar before the 6th event, which of course is those global finals. So you actually have to qualify for an event to be in with a shot at making it to the finals. But there's still a chance, because you can come here and you can win 2 and get yourself 10,000 points, and we'll see you in Dubai, hopefully in person.
If I've learned anything about the esports community, Rachel, it's that everyone thinks they can beat everyone when they're watching. Everyone out there is the best player in WGT in our chat right now. Well, show us. Try to make these events. F Magnet's trying to prove he can be the best at an event for the first time. His 7th appearance now on the eTour. He's made the semifinal, at least the semifinal in every event, but could this be his first win?
Not if he makes tiny mistakes like that. He's cursing that mistake. He's absolutely going to replay that one over and over again. Golf X3, though, for his birdie.
It's a much easier putt from Golf X3. You see flat, not a lot of break. He's going to put that left edge with some pace and put it right down the center.
Okay, well, a 2-up advantage going in to the back 9. F Magnet's now doing some kind of self-coaching. He's talking to himself, which I'm sure he will have been practicing from his psychologist, saying, you know, if you are down, don't worry, just, you know, give yourself a bit of a pep talk and you can pull it back. But 2 now, when it's Golf X3, that's difficult.
It's very difficult. We're through the turn now. We're on hole 10. Maybe some meditation we're going to see from F Magnets as he hits the halfway house, and now is on to hole 10 off the tee. You see that he's lost 4 semifinals and 2 finals in his eTour career. All 4 losses last year came against Golf X3.
Heartbreaking. He thinks this is his time. He said he's full of confidence. He needs to show that now, as we are running out of time a little bit in this final. Very much in the business end of the competition now. On the final 9 holes of this final. If it's all squared, of course, we can play more, but I don't know at this stage it's going to go that far.
It's too early to count him out, and F Magnets, I'm sure, would say, I don't need any moral victories at this point in my eTour career. But he has been the best player today. I don't care if Golf X3 wins. Golf X3 might be the best player in this final. But when you put together each of these players' 3 matches, F Magnets was incredible in his first 2 rounds today. And taking a very aggressive line at that back pin location on the short side on the left. That's a very solid shot. I know he didn't get the heartbeat, but this is a very difficult hole location with over 20-mile-per-hour winds. It's a very strong shot.
Yeah, if you guys are just joining us now, F Magnets, he had a 5-up win over Irish King 19-16 in his quarterfinal, and then 5-up over Jay Smithers, 2-time champion already this season on the eTour, to join Golf X3 in this final.
Golf X3 getting a heartbeat, and this could be a turning point in the match. He's already 2 up. He keeps it just inside of F Magnets. He shakes his head. I don't think that was as good as he thought. Most casual WGT players would take that any day, but these guys want to be right in there next to the hole. Now this a critical moment, Rachel, for F Magnets in this match, because Golf X3 is in there much closer. F Magnets is further away. He's 2 down. This just such a crucial putt to continue to stay in this match.
Breaking quite a lot though, can't you? You can see that from the right, and the wind is really strong. It doesn't maybe affect it as much when you're putting, but yeah, 20 to 22 miles per hour. I think that's the strongest wind we've seen so far all tournament. You can see that yellow open flag really blowing in the wind here. But what can F Magnets expired? Okay, that's clever. That's good. I think it's his first one we've seen so far in this final. 4 remaining, of course. You have 5 each match you play. They reset at the beginning of each match. Golf X3, though, he's also kind of obviously thinking, bit head in hands. F Magnets, though, wasn't quite happy, clearly, with the calculations he made for his first attempt at this, taking more time. He's going to go for it now. Clever move. Nicely done.
That is a response to a challenge by F Magnets, and that's the type of swing putt that now, this is not a given by Golf X3. We've seen both of these competitors miss similar putts of similar distance. He does have it going uphill, but a little bit of a double break here for Golf X3.
If he was still playing like a potato, I'd be worried, but he's very much not now playing like a potato.
Well, he's definitely playing looser than a potato. That's what I'll say. He's definitely, I think of a potato as just being compact, and he's been going for it a little bit more this match.
Yep. Stays as it is because the hole was halved, so Golf X3 is still 2 up. We now have 8 holes left to play. Enough time, but we are on this back 9. It's tough. This is tough. We didn't expect this. Not when Golf X3 semi-final was so, I guess, up and down. Like, Stuman 66 was in the lead up until 16th, 17th, I think it was. And then Golf X3 played himself into that match there and took the win right at the sudden death moment.
I'm sure F Mags will send Stuman a message after and say, you couldn't have finished him off in the semi-final, Golf X3.
Ooh, heartbeat here for Golf X3. Very much now in form. Playing some of his best golf with moments like that.
That is an awesome shot. 241 yards, if my eyes are correct right now. Downhill, par 3. Wind, that headwind does help. You are hitting into the wind, which helps in terms of that approach. Although a critical decision here for F Mags. He's going to stick with the 3-wood.
Not quite as perfect as Golf X3's. Bit shorter. Still on the move? No, it's quite a distance behind Golf X3's shot, so he will be putting first. 19 feet. Slight break from the right there. Bit of a tailwind, not that matters at the moment. Pretty flat as well.
He used a timeout on the last hole. I wouldn't be surprised to see him use another one here.
Has he got 4 left?
He's got 4
3.
left. He's got 3/4.
Yeah.
Is what we'll say. 3/4.
We don't want him to get to the 4.
But again, it just feels, it feels like F Magnets has to work for these birdies and pars right here, as this is going to be a bender right to left. And again, it looks like he might take the full time. He's going to take the putt.
You said he's got to, really? Because he might need those closer to the end of this match. Oh, yes! Love that. That was good.
Another response from F Magnets. He has been unconscious on these last couple holes, staying in this thing. Golf X3, can he respond now? This has a hard break to it.
Golf X3 wasn't maybe as surprised as I was for that one. I loved that finish from F Magnets. Okay. Again, half, 10 feet. Instead of the 19, 20 we just saw from F Mags. Whoa! Game on! Love that. Game on.
That's awesome. You're exactly right, Rachel. And I'm just sitting here thinking, Golf X3, this guy's so good. You could tell he just missed with those clicks there. He was just a split second off, and we've got ourselves a match. How about it? 1 down.
Don't think I really expected that, clearly. That's my reaction. I thought Golf X3 was about to run away with it there. I love that F Magnets is back now, back in business, and that I'm going to say was the telling point. That's going to have given him so much confidence.
Well, look, F. Magnus had 2 incredibly difficult putts for birdie on 10 and 11. He makes them both. Used the timeout on 10, used the full time on 11, and he gets a break that Golf X3, who was inside of him on both those holes, misses the second one. And both competitors just launching drives into that valley down there. So they'll both have short shots with wind in. This is the most subdued hole maybe we've seen. You're talking about 91-yard shots and only 12 to 14 miles per hour of wind.
Yeah, that's obviously headwind though, of course. Can we see a heartbeat? Yes, we can, is the answer to that question. Oh, that's nice. Makes it a little bit easier. Takes the pressure off a little bit.
Very simple shot, but now Golf X3 has to execute on that simplicity here.
Heartbeat matching.
He hit it exactly how he wanted. Is it another eagle? Almost! Golf X3 sticks it.
Wow, that would have been something special if that had gone in there. Not that that wasn't a special shot, but if it had gone in, wow. Okay, F. Magnus then. We'll make this one. Not gonna doubt this.
A stressful 4.5-footer.
Maybe not for someone who's been doing psychology coaching.
You would think. You would think. I'm imagining his Swedish guru sitting out there somewhere. He said, as he knocks that in the middle of nowhere, Sweden, sitting out in a field, maybe watching this. I'm not sure how much technology he has. We know he plays WGT.
He sent him a letter this morning. It arrived. It's fine.
Sent via courier.
Pigeon, isn't it, in Sweden? Courier pigeon.
Pigeon all the way to Brazil, where F. Magnus resides.
You know, it's a fast pigeon. It's migrating over there for the winter.
WGT connecting humans, animals, the world. As we head to 13, it's Golf X3 still 1 up, but F. Mags with a little bit of juice right now. Excellent shot there on the drive.
Sitting back and waiting to see what Golf X3 can do to respond to this. That's all you can do at this stage, isn't it? Wait and watch what your opponent can do.
2 excellent strokes. These guys not making mistakes off the tee. We saw a few of the competitors, especially in the quarterfinals, who lost. You make an errant shot off the tee, you're not in the position that you want to be, but these guys have been lights out off the tee.
Putting a lot of spin on this. 4-iron there for this just under 200-yard shot. Very much a pretty strong tailwind. The flagstick has been removed. Going for this one is F. Mags.
And
hits it perfectly, Jeff.
He's got a heartbeat. We've already seen Golf X3 with an eagle. F. Magnus giving himself a nice short uphill putt. A beautiful shot.
I'm expecting Golf X3 to do very similar, removing the flagstick to powering all the way up there. Also with a 4-iron. Excellent stroke. Heartbeat moment. How close is it gonna go? As close as you like. I like that.
Wow, we almost need to see that again. It looks like Golf X3 just landed that over the hole. We saw him dunk an eagle earlier.
Slightly downhill then from F. Magnus. Looks like Golf X3's distance is a little bit closer than F. Mags, but very similar, I'm sure. Kind of about 5 or 6 feet. Each of these have to putt now.
Yeah, I thought F. Magnets was going to be putting uphill. He's downhill, like you said, and you just made 2 outstanding putts. Don't give this one away.
Nice.
F. Mags keeping pace. And now it's Golf X3. Royal St. George's, the greens, been very, very moderate in the middle when you think about the other 2 courses that we've seen today. St. Andrews didn't have a lot of break to it. Chambers Bay had all the break in the world to those putts. We've seen something in the middle here.
Well, this is now the 14th, so 5 holes remaining. Golf X3 still with the advantage. That's been like that for a number of holes now. F. Magnets had the advantage early on. Let that go. Golf X3 did go 2 up. Brought it back now to 1 up. Really want it to go all squared at this point. F. Magnets, the last couple of holes, has been playing slightly better, would you say, than Golf X3, or very much even at this moment in time?
Well, I had my head up for a second there because F. Mags almost took it all the way to the water here on the par 5 14th. We'll see how Golf X3 does. I think that Golf X3 has played overall better. He's 1 up, but I also think he's played better this overall match. But F. Magnets, to me, those saves on 10 and 11, including the win on 11, that's the type of thing that turns everything around. And that's right now, you just have to be the best player the rest of this match. That's what F. Mags needs to be thinking. Both of them let us hold our breath a little bit as they take it all the way to the end on the par 5. And I will say this, F. Magnets had a great second shot on the par 5 on the front, almost had an albatross and ended up with an eagle. So I give the advantage here to F. Mags, who has shown he's been better with those 3 woods, 5 woods, those hybrids, those long shots as approach shots.
Golf X3 then going over this little bit of water here, which they both nearly found themselves in. As the graphic just said, the youngest player in this tournament is always the youngest player in all the tournaments. 22 years of age at the moment. Still doing a lot of studying as well. Wow, always has the support of his parents. We've seen his mum make appearance in a couple of interviews, Jeff, which, like Jason Smithers last time, their families are so important, aren't they, to helping them fulfill their E-Tour dreams.
Well, we know F. Magnets has moved an ocean away to Brazil for his significant other. A lot of support shown by the families of these players. Obviously, they have to put in the time, Rachel, so their families supporting them on their journey.
And it pays off if they get the success, of course, because they can treat their family with the prize money, but Golf X3 maybe not. He's buying a car, keeping all the money to himself there.
He's only 22. He's only 22. We'll cut him some slack. A rare miscue, by the way, there by F. Magnets. We haven't seen a lot of, even on par 5s, third shots with a wedge in hand. He looks like he's going with a flop shot. If Stuman's watching, I said Stuman might have been able to extend that match against Golf X3 had he used the flop on 17 on the road hole at St. Andrews. I like the flop in this game, Rachel, because you know you're not going to get much run out. You can just land it right next to the hole and leave it there.
Well, that's what F. Magnets is going to do. Let's see how it works for him. A little bit too long, but that's...
A little bit too long. You see how there seemed to be a ridge past the hole. He should be okay to make that, but that gives a little bit of an opportunity here to Golf X3, who can strategize, right? He can try to go for this and win the hole, or he can try to keep it close and think, maybe I can get away with a victory two-putting, a win on this hole just with a two-putt. I mean, that's a lot of break right now going right to left.
That is a lot of break, and on a different day, I'd say that's not a problem for Golf X3. Today, possibly more problematic than it should be for him. Let's see how he deals with it with ease.
He does, and I thought he missed a little bit there on the accuracy, but he gets the eagle. He goes 2 up. Electric, even if the players may not be showing it as much.
Wow. 4 holes now left to play with Golf X3 2 up over F Magnets. Coming into this, I'd have said it would completely be the other way around, but it's not. Golf X3 on the tee box first, driving that, trying to get as close to the 493 yards where the pin is as possible. A wind coming in for the right-hand side. On the fairway, nicely does it.
Yeah, he played the wind perfectly. That bunker could cause some problems on the left side if you don't hit this at the exact time, but he does an awesome job with that. F Magnets, again, going backspin on the driver. Why does he do that? Even if he hits a poor shot here toward the bunker, he'll probably stop just short of it.
And coming into this as well, F Magnets, he was ranked 5th coming into this, and Golf X3 is, as we've already mentioned, 6th. So it doesn't really matter where you qualify, especially at this stage, you know, the 5th and 6th. On paper, if no one had ever watched the E-Tour before, they'd say, oh, no, Jay Smithers #1 and Stuman 66, #2, they're going to go to the final, but not to be here.
You just got to get in. You just got to get into these 8-player fields, and so many players who we see show up, they're just thinking, I just have to get into that 8-player field for the grand finals. And that's why a big shout out to Stuman, who earns those 2,000 points by making the semifinals. He's now in just one event. He's in to the field of that top 8.
Who's going to run away with maximum points? That's still the question we are asking at the moment. And if it stays like this, that is going to be Golf X3 adding to his tally. F Magnet needs all the points he can get, but would go away with the minimum 3,000 if it stays as it is on the 15th at the moment.
Just an uncharacteristically poor shot again by F Magnets, who has found the struggle bus here late. Right when I said, Rachel, that I thought he might be playing the best right now, even if Golf X3 had the better match so far. He's lost his step a bit. You cannot be missing irons short of the green like F Magnets just did, and now Golf X3 with a heartbeat on 15, trying to end this thing, puts it in close.
He's doing a me having a coughing fit. See, happens to the best of us, doesn't it, Jeff?
He might have to, if we have an interview coming up, he might have to figure out, maybe put in a cough drop or something for the interview. Now another pressure chip for F Magnets. It's like people say that yawning is contagious, right? When someone yawns and you see them yawn. He was watching your coughing, Rachel.
I know. Yawning is contagious. Please don't start, because it'll definitely set me off. Okay, right. F Mags here, just trying to flop it up onto that green, getting as close to that hole. Goes a bit too long as well.
Yeah, I talked up the flop shot, but F Magnets has struggled with it a bit. Part of it is because he's trying these very difficult flop shots, which is the right shot where he's coming from a downhill location, so that ball rolls past the pin. Golf X3 can win the hole with this putt, and again, same situation we just saw. Even if he two putts, it's going to be a difficult response coming from F Magnets.
Not a great lot of power on this. It's only 10 feet, of course. Ooh, that is going to hurt. Slightly wide, just literally rolls off the side of that hole there. F Magnets, though, can he respond with this a slightly closer distance to the hole there?
Very similar to the putt that Golf X3 missed on number 11. That was the hole that F Magnets made a big putt to actually win the hole on. And now, I mean, we've been talking about it all afternoon, all night, all morning, wherever you may be watching. This is when F Magnets needs to respond, and he does, to keep pace here in this match.
Golf X3 is going to make this one, of course. There we go then. Hole was halved, stays as it is. F Magnets not letting Golf X3 get any further away, but still 2 up on the 16th. 3 left to play. We really are counting down the holes now. This one's very short though, Jeff, on the 16th here.
Very short, I believe 100 It's 165 or 185 based on my
65.
eyes. 165. But look at that wind, that tailwind, 17 to 19 miles per hour. And we're going to see if a change of clubs comes here from Golf X3. This seems like too much, perhaps could be too much club with the 7-iron. He's not going to play it all the way.
Golf X3 looks up to the sky as they didn't like that shot as much, but
I didn't love the club choice, Rachel.
Okay.
I thought that just, with that tailwind, I just thought that he had too much club. I probably would have gotten down 1 and just played a full shot, maybe with less spin. Of course, Golf X3 has won 5 times in the E-Tour, and I haven't, so who am I to say anything? But, sometimes these guys overthink things.
well, let's see what F Mags does then. So is he removing?
F Mag's a little bit of a different situation because he has to go for that pin.
And he gets the heartbeat. Very different position. Oh, close. Very close. Very nice.
F Mags did a good job keeping that out right, his shot, so he actually caught the wind a little bit better. And now here we go. Golf X3's got a very difficult putt. This is look, if this is championship pedigree, if he makes this putt, he deserves to win it all.
I'm just going to sit back and watch and wait.
It has been an enjoyable day of watching E-Tour action, especially between these two, F Magnets and Golf X3.
It's going in.
That is an incredible stroke by Golf X3. He might not have any emotion. We've got emotion watching that because that might be the dagger to F Magnets.
You said he makes that, he deserves to win.
That is a championship back-breaking putt where your fellow competitor is way inside you, has basically a tap-in to make it just a 1-hole difference, and now it stays at 2 holes, and now it goes dormy.
I love that there's no emotion on Golf X3 when you execute perfectly a shot like that. Surely, inside maybe your heart is beating a little bit faster, but wow, that was special. Stay 2 up with 2 to go now. This is it. It could all be over now, Jeff.
That's right. All Golf X3 needs is a halve. They are on to 17. And Golf X3 has to be feeling like he didn't have his best stuff today, Rachel. He didn't, but he had his best on that putt on 16, and that might be the signature shot out here.
This is when I'm now getting nervous, and I'm not sure who I'm nervous for. I'm just nervous for everybody involved.
Can I give you? You're British. You're from the UK. So is F Magnets. Can I give you the comparison that I think we might be at right now? Andy Murray. Because I'm looking at F Magnets, and you've got the big 3, right? You've got the big 3 of Golf X3, Young 46, and Jay Smithers, and it just feels like F Magnets, as close as he comes, he can't quite break into that big 3.
He needs to do it on home soil. This is his chance. This is his home soil. This is where Andy Murray does his stuff, right? At Wimbledon. Doesn't seem to be the case at the moment.
This is a great shot by F Magnets, though.
It is a great shot, but that's quite far from the hole still. Golf X3. This possibly won't challenge him. 124 yards out, slightly downhill, 1 foot going all the way on the spin here. Okay, the wind's a bit tricky, but it's been tricky the entire way through the tournament, and it's not proved a problem for any of these guys. Jeff, are we about to see him take his 6th title?
I think so. This is too easy for him. Pins in the middle. Not enough variables to stop Golf X3, although we don't see a heartbeat on this one. So he's a little bit further out, a little bit of a wave to putt over. It's not done yet. But let's check out the break. Not a lot of break here. And I think that's the difference here. Down 2.2 inches. It's got a little bit of speed. He's missed a couple similar putts, but you just don't see enough break, I think, to throw him off his game here.
My heartbeat's going.
I see, I'm looking at Rachel right now. Her body's blinking. The heartbeat is going right next to me.
It is. Whose day is it going to be? Can he make this?
No! Golfex 3 leaves it out to the right.
The pressure is absolutely getting to him.
F. Magnets just sat up. I think that's the most emotion we've seen from him all day, trying to force an 18th hole.
It's going to go to the 18th. Come on. F. Mags, what have you got? It's taking his time.
This also difficult downhill 1.9. If I'm F. Magnets, just give this speed. You do not want to let this slip off. Give yourself a chance.
I thought that was going slightly wide. Okay, F. Magnets is still in with a shot.
F. Magnets loves these slow putts that make us stressed, but he maintains his composure. We're going all the way to the 18th hole. 2 weeks ago, Colin Morikawa walked down this fairway, putter in hand, knew things were done. A little bit different this time around.
What can we expect from this final hole, Jeff?
I think that Golfex 3 has to forget that hole. He has to throw it out of his mind and just think it's a pretty simple 18th hole. I just have to play my simplest form of play, probably get out of here with a birdie, and I'm the winner. But F. Magnets, by the way, a bold tee shot splitting the bunkers.
That's lovely.
And sending a message to Golfex 3, try to keep up with me. You don't need to hit driver here.
How is Golfex 3 going to respond to this? Possibly the last hole. We can see it go further if it needs to.
And you see what I said about don't need to hit driver. Golfex 3 hit about 7/8 of a driver. He lays up a little bit here, but he did hit driver. It's gonna
Don't roll. Whew.
Folks, I appreciate everyone. We appreciate everyone that's been with us for the last, 3 hours or so, 3.5 hours, Rachel. This is the most critical shot that we've seen all day. Golfex 3 is going to go first. He's 1 up on 18. He's got tailwind, and you see how that green drops off on the left side. You cannot miss this long and left. Golfex 3 looks away for a second, played it a little bit conservatively on that right side. That's what you do when you're 1 up.
On the green. F. Magnets now in between those two bunkers, looking for his first final victory, his first title.
He's in good position because he can play with, he's got a 9-iron in hand. He can play with a higher lofted club and keep this close. He doesn't have to worry about that back left, Rachel. I think he's got to just go for it. You've got to try to continue the match. It's an excellent stroke with a heartbeat coming back toward the hole. And it's inside of Golfex 3's ball.
Golfex 3 though now. He's up first. If he holds this, he is a 6 times European E-Tour champion. Can he do it, Jeff?
A little bit of a zigzagger, it looks like. We see the break changes, but I think it changes past the hole. So this is mostly going to just move right to left. It's downhill 1.5 inches. Very difficult putt. And just a slight nod from Golfex 3, now a 6-time E-Tour champion. For the first time in 2021, he is a winner.
No potato there. No potato indeed. He is a champion in black. No Tiger Woods red today for Golfex 3. Golfex 3, what vegetable are you now calling yourself? Is a question I want you to answer for me first.
I don't know much about fruits. Let's go with I'm lost for words right now. I'm blanking right now. That last putt had me so psyched up.
Come on.
Vegetable. Oh my God, I'm blanking. You're putting me on the spot. I'm not good with this stuff.
He's not good with vegetables. Okay, we're gonna go. You're a tomato. It is red. It would be Tiger Woods red, the tomato.
I was gonna say that.
Peyton, sum up this moment. You've been the underdog so far in this tournament. We didn't really expect you to get that victory because F Magnets have been playing so awesome. How does that feel?
Feels great. Oh my gosh, those last few holes, I thought I was throwing it. Made so many, like 2 putts down the stretch that were massive.
Golf X3, we have to go back to hole number 5. You're 168 yards out. F Magnets has hit a bomb right next to the green, and you hole out from 168 yards. What happened on that shot?
Man, I was wondering if he was going to go for that drive. That's what I was thinking about at first. Didn't have the balls to do it, but yeah, my second shot in, I knew I had to put it close. I usually don't like that hole, but yeah, I think that's the first hole out I've ever had in an E-Tour event. Happens to be in the finals. Let's go.
Golf X3, this is your first victory as well from the 2021 season. Is this maybe the sweetest victory so far? You were so used to winning, weren't you, last season? But this one is your first of this season.
Yeah, this one means a lot. Believe it or not, I felt like I was the worst in this event out of all of them. I didn't really play well. I just made a couple big putts down the stretch. Somehow squeezed through the group stages. Stuman almost took me out there if it wasn't for that 17th hole. So I'm just lucky I won. To be honest, I didn't feel like I played great, but here we are.
Not playing in that last event, Golf 3X, I'm sure that was so difficult on you to have to watch for the first time. What did you take away from that?
Well, I didn't catch much of it. I saw Josh was playing great. I was hoping to come in here and face him in the finals, but not much, to be honest. I just kind of came here and did what I usually do, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And today it just happened to work.
Golf X3, just so you look off camera as well, is your mum in the room? Has anyone come in yet to congratulate you?
No.
Have they sent you a text?
No, I'm just looking around. I don't know. I can see if she comes up here.
We love
here
an
we
interview
go.
with your mum. She's always great entertainment on camera. But another question we had, obviously, it was between you and F Magnets. You keep getting the better of F Magnets in these final situations. Why would you say that is?
I got no clue. If you knew, tell me, because I don't know why. He played pretty good. He had a few mistakes down the stretch, but he made some clutch putts, especially when he was down like 2. He made a lot of big putts to keep it in there, and he almost got me there at the end.
We're now through 3 events this year. You finally get your first victory of the season. As we look into the second half of the year, how do you feel about your game right now compared to last season?
To be honest, I don't feel that good right now. I'm going to have to practice a lot more because everyone's always getting better. You got so many good players coming out now, so many new faces who are always qualifying. Like last event, I didn't even get to the event because Kelps beat me in the group play. So it just goes to show people are getting better with these clubs. I'm going to have to get better myself. I can't stay stagnant or people are just going to surpass me.
You said to our production team, Golf X3, that if you won, you were going to buy a car. Is that true? And what car are we going to see you driving around in very soon?
I'm not sure about that. Car prices are pretty high here right now, so I'm going to have to wait. But I'm looking at like a Miata, little Mazda Miata. Those things look pretty cool.
Nice. I love that. And are we going to see you now bounce back and qualify for this next event?
I sure hope so. I'm going to try. I'm going to have to practice some more. I don't want to get destroyed like last event, so yeah, I'm going to try. I'm going to have to practice a lot more, I think.
Well, we really wish you the best of luck in that. Congratulations, Golf X3. You are our Hero Open 2021 champion. Awesome job there.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Love to see that. What a great champion.
6-time champion, but he's got to practice more. You know, for the kids out there, you can always keep practicing.
You can always keep practicing. Disappointing we didn't get to see his mum, and disappointment also for F Magnets, of course, going so close and having such a brilliant tournament himself. 5 up in the quarters and in the semi-finals. Couldn't quite get it over the line in that final there against Golf X3. F Mags are going to come to you now and have a quick word on how you're feeling after that defeat in the final, because we were saying how much confidence you had in the quarters and the semi-finals. What happened in the final?
Didn't play quite as well in the final, but that's because it's Royal St George's. If you put the ball in just slightly awkward places, then the putts become very difficult. But even so, and losing one down with Peyton having a hole out and holding two enormous bendy putts is probably the best match we've had so far, I think, in terms of me being able to compete with him. So I think I'm getting better at this version of the game. So just keep going. I think I'm on the right track now.
F. Magnets on number 5, that shot, you were right up near the green, and Golf X3 holes out from 168 yards. How deflating was that? How did that change the match?
Yeah, that was ridiculous. And then he held a big putt on the next one as well. So it looked like I was dominating at the start of the game, and suddenly I'm one down from nowhere. Well, that was 2 down by then, wasn't it? But yeah, those things happen, and I didn't get my head down. I kept plugging away. I think missing the putt on 9 was a bad one, because that put me back to 2 down. Whereas, one down going into the final 9, that's not so bad position to be in. But yeah, that was a bit of a shocker on number 5.
F-Mags, you were so close,
14.
F-Mags, you were so close on this one. We thought you had it in the bag. We really thought you were going to be our champion here today. What do you think it's going to take from you to finally get over the line? Because you've been so close so many times.
I don't think it'll take anything different, actually. If I just keep playing this way, it'll happen eventually. At some point, if I do meet someone again in the final, they're not going to have a hole out or 2 huge bendy putts. So, I'd be winning 2 up then. It's just luck of the draw on the day and in the match. It'll happen though.
Seven events, 4 semifinals, 3 finals you've made. You've now lost to Golf X3 5 times. He's knocked you out. Do you look at these stats? Do they mean anything for you, or is it just instant amnesia for that next event?
Well, the only one of these events that we played in my version of the game, I won it. So it's taken me quite a long time to start getting used to this version of the game. It's really only the last 3 or 4 weeks I've started to feel even remotely competent at it. And you can see the results in this event. I've played much better the first 2 matches, and that's the closest I've come to beating Peyton so far. So, yeah, I think none of the other results so far mattered really, because it's not been the version of the game that I prefer. But now I'm getting used to this. I think we'll see a slightly different F Magnets coming forward.
F Magnets, thank you so much for being a great competitor as always and pushing Golf X3 all the way. I'm sure we'll see you in our next event. Until then, we'll see you soon.
Thanks very much, and well done to Peyton.
Yeah. What a tournament, Jeff. I really feel for F Magnets there. He was such a great competitor. Couldn't quite match the standard that Golf X3 showed us in that final. This is the bracket one last time from the Hero Open 2021. Golf X3 there, winning that grand final, 1 up in the end. Finest of margins.
Well, you heard him say, Rachel, that he felt this was the worst of the ones that he's won. Of his 6 titles, he felt he played the worst. He almost got knocked out by Stuman in the 2nd round. He was scraping, clawing his way against F Magnets. I think that shot on 5, that eagle was just so incredible. And how about F Magnets? As much as it's been a struggle, as close as he's come, he's powering ahead to the next one.
Well, he changed from a potato to tomato, didn't he? We can see one of his great shots. He had so many, of course. But let's have a quick look right now. On that 5th, like we said, this was one of the moments of the tournament, Jeff.
168 yards out, 6-iron in hand. F Magnets is right next to the green. He's pitching. He's taking a sip of his water right now. He feels great after the drive, but Golf X3 just throws it in the hole, couple bounces and in, and this is when things changed. You heard F Magnets say that was ridiculous. He couldn't believe that happened, and that was the difference, by the way. 1 up was your final for Golf X3.
It was ridiculous. We were talking about 168 yards out. We might not even make the green. Golf X3 there absolutely holds it. He makes it look absolutely easy. But let's see what that 5,000 points will do now to the leaderboard for Golf X3. Where will it place him in the race for the global finals in Dubai? Golf X3 now sitting third in the table on 7,000 points. Jay Smithers, though, with 12,000 points next to his name after getting 2,000 more today by reaching those semi-finals, getting knocked out to F. Mags, of course, who's now second on 8,000 points. Young 46, who didn't join us today, 5,000 points, still in with a massive chance at making it through to those finals. Stuman, 66, Jeff, as well, on 2,000.
Yeah, those top four there, those are the big four. Those are the guys who should be the top four. But after that, especially look at 7 through 12. Those are all players who've just qualified and lost in the first round. So if you're out there thinking, can I still get in? Can I still make the grand finals? You got to show up, you got to qualify, and it's still an open field for those last 2 spots especially. Really the last 4 spots.
Absolutely. As well, Golf X3, he leaves today 5,000 points better off, $5,000 richer, and of course the champion of the Hero Open 2021. Jeff, this is the first event that we have joined forces on. I'm guessing there was so many highlights from you. Mine, I'm still going to say, was Stuman 66, his amazing shot there. What was your highlight?
I just keep going back to this shot because Golf X3, I mean, he said it. He said he doesn't think he's holed out in an E-Tour event. He did it in a final, but this one, Rachel, this is mine.
This is my favorite here. Stuman 66, his eagle. He's been playing the best tournament of his career, right?
2 eagles, as he mentioned. This was in the first one. We weren't watching this live. This was against LeHue, and yeah, spin it back.
That was so lovely. I don't think LeHue realised what Stuman 66 could do. That was proof in the pudding there, and this is his second one against Golf X3, which I'm talking about is one of the best moments. Look at this. Woo! Nicely does it. That was awesome.
And that put him 2 up through 6. Stuman's going to be kicking himself. He played that front 9 so well. At least you gave us 2 great moments, Stuman.
And I think he will bounce back from that. He's now got a taste of what it feels like to push one of the best on the WGT so far in the form of Golf X3. We've absolutely loved it. Guys, we hope you've loved it at home as well. We know you have because you've been in the chat the entire time. But if you think you have what it takes to make one of these finals, then go on to our social media channels at eTour, and we have all the information for you there. But that is all we have time for from this Hero Open 2021 event. Jeff, thank you so much for being alongside me.
Thank you.
I've been Rachel Stringer. We have so many more great events to bring you, so stay tuned because we'll have one in just a few short weeks' time. But until then, we hope you have a lovely evening, day, wherever you are joining us from. We'll see you soon. Goodbye.